Hello. I am currently in the hospital. Please send me $1,000 each to cure me. Every dollar helps cure one cell in my body. And just so happens I'm one of those empaths that have 1 trillion cells because I have more cells to care more. Which brings me to say,
I happen to be an empath myself.
So what are you going to do? Welcome. I want to say at the top, as I adjust my mic like I'm a stand-up comedian. Hey, everybody. How you doing? I'm going to take a little bit of a light approach, I think, today is my goal here because I don't know. Feel that way, and I feel like my old videos too took a serious tone, but there is some lightheartedness in all of this. I mean, there's definitely like people getting scammed, getting ripped off, but there is some humor that I have found via covering these people, some of their tactics and things. Like it can be funny, so I'm hoping that everyone will allow me a tiny ounce of humor, like the background being in the hospital. Because it helps me cope, you know? So we have a lot of old faces, and I want to also talk about a new person that you might have heard about in the media, that I think is a very interesting case and fits perfectly into the other people who we'll be talking about today. And I think it's December, the end of the year, coming up on coming up on the end of the second year of this channel. I posted my first video I'm gonna have it right here, on January 4th, 2021. So a year was January, obviously. So 2 years in less than a month, this channel will have been in existence. That source energy has allowed me to produce this content on this astral plane, right?
The mango frequency.
To create content on the mango frequency. So lots of updates. I want to return to my hometown, which is medical scammers. Not to be confused with the medical medium, but I'm sure the scammers love medical medium. And some of the people that we're going to talk about are, through the court system. They have been released from jail. They have been facing charges. They are now seeing a judge again for different charges. There are some people who have never gone through the court system, who have just been publicly on social media, ridiculed and not taken off, but sort of shamed away or shamed, and they're still there. So it's a wide variety. And I think it'll be fun to watch some of my old videos too, as self-serving and narcissistic as that may be, because, who doesn't love to see themselves from 2 years ago and judge every single moment. But yeah, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. I don't mind watching myself. And even when I watch some of my old videos, there's stuff that comes up that I'm like, oh God, I would never say that today. Or, oh, that was weird. Or I didn't understand YouTube or Reddit at that point, because I was sort of starting my journey, my foray into all of this back then. So I think it'll be a fun time. It'll be a fun time. And also, I added new emotes. So if you're a member, either of the tiers, you should have access to new ones. However, I haven't figured out how to do it, but there is a way to do it apparently where I can set like goals. So it's like you can see it because on the back end of YouTube, it tells me how many members need to join before I can upload more emojis. And the number right now is 11. So I have some made. I have 3 new ones ready to go, fresh off of the graphic designer's tablet, that aren't a part of the group right now. So if we get 11 members somehow, no pressure, then I can add those emojis. So that's the goal that has been set by YouTube. And gives me a nice excuse to say, I'm not pressuring you guys. I'm not pressuring you. YouTube's pressuring you, not me. But definitely, if you want that low-hanging fruit of emojis that are coming, it's there. And I hope you enjoy the PP pants. And what else did I upload today? Dave bots. Hopefully, we won't have to use Dave bots, but if we do, we have a way to do it. Okay, so let's start with my fan favorite here as well, Chronically Rara. She is the woman who started this whole entire channel. And I'll sort of tell you the backstory just because, we're reminiscing here, right? Okay, this has like a twofold like backstory. The first one was that Steven had a friend, and I didn't like this friend. I never met him actually, but we had taken a little break in our relationship, and he had made this friend in between the time where we took a break. This is like years ago. And he had cancer, allegedly. And I was like, okay, of course I didn't think liar immediately, but I was suspicious after time because this is something that I have been criticized before, but he smoked cigarettes, he drank alcohol, he didn't have any sort of, you couldn't tell, he wasn't bald, he had hair, and not that means, oh my God, he doesn't have anything. But it was just suspicious enough that I was like, okay. And then he, and I only heard this through Steven. So, who knows what the full story was. I didn't meet this guy, but this is how it happened. And then I looked him up online, and then there was all these accusations that he was telling people that he had multiple heart attacks and all this stuff. So I was super suspicious, and I brought it up to him, and he was not really interested in talking about it with me. He was like, so what? He's my friend. I believe him, whatever. But it got me really mad. And I just basically repressed that immediately and moved on with my life. But then I came across this TikTok, and it was from Chronically Rara. And it was we're going to play it in a second because I want to play part of my original video. And it was it reminded me of this guy who I'd already been suspicious about. Just something in the way she spoke just triggered something in me, and I was like, ooh, okay. But at the same time, I was like, if this is real, this is heartbreaking and really sad. So either way, I was emotionally triggered by the TikTok. Then I went in and started looking up at her stuff just to see her journey, and instant red flags all over the place, so many red flags. And I just got this, I was laying on the bed, and I was like, I gotta start a YouTube channel. I gotta do it. This is it. This is the thing I'm gonna talk about. I'd already been watching anti-MLM content. I was like, maybe I could try that. I was kind of playing around with different ideas to start a channel, but I was like, I don't know what to do. And then I saw that, and I was like, you know what? This will be helpful. I looked her up. Nothing was there at that point about any of these TikTokers who have done this stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. And it really did help me deal with my issues with other people in real life that I was just suspicious about. And maybe that's a bad story and a weird story, but that's the truth. And it's, truth is complicated. So anyways, so then I went down the rabbit hole, the raw rabbit hole. And then I made this video. So, and I'm going to share some emails too, in regards to Chronically Rara from 2020, because, I didn't share them before. And I also never explained fully. I definitely did not explain it on YouTube. I explained it a little bit on TikTok. But Chronically Rara and I had like a back and forth, and I had asked her to come on to the show or like, let's do a live stream. I didn't know how to do a live stream back then, but I was like, I'll figure it out. And she responded and said yes. And then the way she responded, it just also gave me a feeling that was like, okay, she's not mentally well. You know, it's sort of obvious based on like this whole thing, but I just felt like I was taking advantage of her at that point by putting her in a platform and, you know, giving any sort of not even credibility, but just like platforming someone who's obviously struggling with mental illness. And I was like, this is too far. I feel like it's fair enough to critique the work that's out there because there is money that has been distributed and that sort of thing. But when it came to like bringing her on, I don't know, for me, it felt like I was crossing a line. So would I today, maybe I would open the invite because she's still around 2 years later, sort of doing the same thing. She's a little bit better. But yeah, I don't know. And and people were like, oh, she got to you. I'm like, no, I don't think she's, you know, innocent in all of this. I just don't think it's right to, you know, put her up there live. I mean, she's getting the attention, but like, you know, seem like I'm manipulating her in some way because I just didn't feel like a fair fight, if that makes sense. So anyways, here's a little bit of my first video. There's a tarot, what do you call it? Cameo right at the top. So we're starting off strong. Okay. And we're not going to watch the whole thing, I promise. Just like a little bit, just to give you a taste in case you don't know who the heck I'm talking about. Personally, this is just my opinion and for entertainment purposes.
I keep on saying I should start doing my OnlyFans again because there's a market for
Oh, also, I see someone's asking about the friend lying. I don't know, but the friend claimed that they stopped being friends because of something else. So I don't know what's going on now, but before they stopped being friends, he said that he had the like not terminal cancer, but like cancer that you can just never get rid of, but you can live with. I was like, okay, I don't know. He's probably going to be upset that I'm talking about this actually. So I apologize, Steven. Sorry. But I wanted to tell the truth about my beginnings. Okay, here we go.
dying people, so. What? There's a market for dying people and we need the money.
Hello, my name is Kayla, and this is my first time on this YouTube channel. This is my first video. Yes. Cringe. First video vibes right here. This is Taro, my cat, and she's decided at this moment that she wants to participate in this first taping, so we're going to allow it this one time. Now, she can come every time. But this video is going to be about a TikToker who went viral, and a lot of people have been very worried about her, and a lot of people are skeptical of her story. I'm on the camp that's pretty skeptical of her story, and so I thought this would be a great way to launch this YouTube channel and talk about different things on the internet that are interesting to me, starting with this very interesting story that went viral over the weekend. Let's get right into it. I hate long intros, so let's start. This TikTok came up on my For You page, and it was shocking. To begin with, it was a woman sitting in her bed and basically telling her followers that she's dying.
Hello everybody, this is Lindsay with Chronically Rara. I just got up about an hour ago and I've been sleeping for about 20 hours, I think. I'm very, very tired and very weak now. Okay, I already got copyright claim for the first video for this song, so I'm just going to accept it at this point, I suppose. Transitioning. I only think it's almost time. We'll make sure somebody tries to get on here every once in a while and give updates. Okay, so basically, if you can't hear because she's got the freaking music so far up, she's saying like,
you know, hey guys, I've been sleeping for like 20 hours. We think it's almost time, and insinuating that she's going to pass on. And I, you know, coming across this video, if you've never seen this person before, which is how, you know, TikTok works for the most part, you'd be like, oh my gosh, like this must have been, she must be updating her followers like for months. And now this is like it. It's like, oh, it just like, you know, just, I don't know. It just sparked something in me, but also just the voice and like the way she was speaking. I was also like, but is it okay? Let me just watch this and look into it more. Thank you to Co-Steps. Co-Step is coming through right now. I see it. And also peep my new Tony Robbins clapping gif. We have come a long way. Thank you, Co-Steps. They said, oh no, they chose a pair character turning around, waving his hand, saying, hey, you, while lowering his glasses. Hey, you.
What excites me most is to see a person die.
What excites me most is to see a person die, says Tony Robbins. He also, this is what Dave Hollis has to say about Tony Robbins.
You want to tell Tony to shove it up Tony's ass.
True. Accurate. Anyways, thank you, Co-Steps. So, okay, so here we go. She's saying like her husband or somebody's going to come on and, you know, update TikTok for her after she's dead. Okay.
As for myself, I don't think I'm going to be on as much anymore. Unfortunately, I'm just too tired and too weak now.
So she's too tired and too weak now. And you hear someone in the background sort of like bouncing around or like, I don't know what, you know, almost like adding to the story, in my opinion. It was like, wow, like the guy's like blowing his nose. He's crying. He's like moving stuff around. But it turns out, and I don't know, I've maybe not watched that part of the video, but like her husband, who may be an ex-husband at this point, it's sort of confusing if you follow the lore of this woman. They're together, but they're not together. I don't know. But he came out on the internet and said, you know, she exaggerates her symptoms. She exaggerates things. And, you know, it's not always what it seems. So even he, the husband, kind of outed her as well.
But I want to thank every one of you who has been such a wonderful support. I'm so incredibly thankful for each and every one of you. Please continue to give my husband and daughter love during this time. Again, we truly are so thankful to each and every one of you who have been on this journey with us. Be well.
Be well. I feel like such an asshole, but at the same time, like she's still alive, in case that was buried in the lead. She is not buried. She is, you know, she is alive. The lead was buried. Okay. And it got like 464,000 likes. It got like 2 million views. Her hashtags are end of life, terminal illness, hospice care, rare disease, my final days, transitioning, time to say goodbye, and then chronic something. So if you didn't get the hint about what she's trying to say here, this is again back in 2020. She had mere hours left and she was going to be drifting off into space or whatever. Yeah, her daughter is a teenager. I believe she's a minor. I don't know much about her. Chronically Rara posted her occasionally back 2 years ago. But I don't know. That's sort of like the drama of the whole situation. I'm not really sure. I just want to focus on Chronically Rara and the husband, I think, who are the ones that are at the helm of this whole thing. But there is a kid involved, which obviously makes this even more horrendous. So nothing's changed. Same delivery. Okay, so then I go through some of the... Do you care if I just play it? Will that be too self-indulgent once again? Not the whole thing, but just the parts so we can catch up. So pretty heavy stuff, right? And that went viral. It has like 400,000 plus likes and it has over 2 million. I love this screenshot. It was fantastic. A goodbye message. Once again, she's still alive. The dramatics of this person. Views on TikTok. And now Lord. She has about 90,000 followers. So I went through some of the comments, and most of them were positive. Most of them are very sad people that were commenting and saying, you know, we pray for you, and my father recently died, and I understand your pain, and I'm sorry. And sad people meaning they were sad for her, not that they were sad, like, oh, sad people, like losers, just for the record. And a lot of different really nice people saying really nice, encouraging things. And then you dig a little deeper, and some things just didn't add up. So this account is called Chronically Rara. So if you look at her bio, it says, bringing awareness to rare disease and terminal illness. Venmo at Chronically Rara. And then she's got a link tree. So in this video, we're going to talk about the basics, but in future videos, I'm going to go into more detail about each individual piece of the puzzle. But this one is like, if you've never heard of this account or this woman, or you're not a big TikToker, now you will understand what's going on. That's the beginning. So that's how I came across Lindsay. So her name is Lindsay. That's the not most recent, but that's the most famous TikTok that she has, basically saying goodbye to everybody. And then afterwards, the next TikTok that came up on her feed, the next one she posted was from someone else, and basically saying, you know, we've taken over the account.
Hey everybody, this is Jen, and obviously...
Poor Jen. Jen and I talked on Facebook for a long time because she eventually left the Raw team because she was heavily involved at this point trying to defend her friend, but I don't think they were actually friends. I think she was friends with Rara's friend and got involved via the internet as well. So she was sort of swindled in this whole thing as well. And we talked on Facebook, and she kind of like told me, you know, I didn't know all the details until later. It seems like there's sketchy stuff going on. I don't, you know, she didn't tell me to take the video down, but she sort of insinuated like, it would be nice if you took it down. And I just politely said no. So, you know, if you choose to go and defend somebody online and post it and all that, it's like, and it's on Chronically Rara's account, you know, it's like, I'm sorry that, you know, you've changed your mind. And I don't know if I ever did a follow-up or if that was already after the fact, way after the fact. But now they are no longer friends, as far as I know, unless they've rekindled it since we spoke last.
You can see Lynn's in the back. She's had a really rough night. I've had a really rough night because this is what it looks like when you drive 5 hours.
My favorite part of this is that she like, in the Chronically Rara, her real name's Lindsay. In the background's like this. Her like eyes are open, like, huh? Watch. She's like, hey, get on my TikTok and make a TikTok for me. And then she's like, I'm sleeping. No, I'm not.
So you can see Lynn's in the back. She's had a really rough night. I've had a really rough night because this is what it looks like when you drive 5 hours to be with your friend who is on hospice, talk to 3 hospice nurses, and you're up all night because she has had a terrible night. So for all of you people questioning her and making these, you know, videos of these videos and putting them up, it's really nice to pick on somebody that you know nothing about. Does it make you feel good?
Yeah. Does.
Just curious, because this is what we're dealing with. This is how you love somebody. Yeah.
You can't base an opinion
on 60 seconds.
60-second videos.
So that one was kind of a little bit, not angry, but upset that some of... Yeah, just to catch everyone up that's joining the chat now. This is from 2020, and the person that's claiming to be on hospice and that, you know, they're in this severe medical scenario, they're still alive. They're still making content. They actually have their own online business now, and there is still some, you know, illness content being made to this day. But, oh wait. Yeah. She's alive. So any of this stuff is not as serious as it appears because we know the outcome has been that, you know, she makes it through somehow. And if you heard the beginning, I don't know if you saw, who's been here from the beginning, I put a little teaser at the front, and part of the video and part of in the discovery of who Chronically Rara truly was, it turned out that she had an OnlyFans account, which, go for it, queen. I don't care. You have an OnlyFans account. But she was using the premise that she was dying as the appeal to why people should watch her OnlyFans and subscribe to her OnlyFans. And she was talking about that openly, that her OnlyFans was appealing to people who have a fetish for people who are dying. Which, fine. Again, do whatever you want. But when you're actually not doing that and you're making it seem like you are, in the bed about to collect, some Venmo payments from people on TikTok, it's a little weird how in like a OnlyFans video, you're, got full hair makeup, doing like, I don't know, this role play stuff. It just was like, wait, which version is true? Because I'm confused. Yeah, so that was part of it. TikTok in particular is questioning Lindsay's story. And the reason that people are questioning the story is that it's very vague. And Lindsay has claimed that she has a variety of illnesses. The main disease she says she has is called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, or EDS for short. It's also called elastic skin disorder. She also says she has seizures and mast cell disease. And according to this Instagram post, she had a hysterectomy back in 2019. She also said that she had COVID in March, and she also has POTS. She says because that's one of her favorite things too, is like to be caught in these moments where she's like sleeping. And there's another one, I don't know if I put it in this video or not, but there's a video of her where she's like, again, like in the bed, she's like peeking out to see if her husband's like recording her the right way. Cause it was like on her YouTube account, it was like, labeled as what, or husband catches wife in having seizure. But it was just like, you could tell she's like poking her eye out again to see if he's recording the right way. So again, she never claimed she had cancer, which I think is good. She claimed that she was, going to pass because of all of her illnesses combined were so much that it wasn't she couldn't survive it, basically. Like all the things I just mentioned were, severe enough that together the comorbidities of all of those put on top of each other were going to kill her. But it turned out that was not accurate. Also has POTS. She says because they are put together, that the comorbidities of her diseases is what they call it. She has one illness, and then because she has other illnesses, then that becomes a fatal diagnosis. There you go. A lot of people aren't quite understanding that. And when people ask questions or write comments, usually they get blocked, or there is kind of like a negative tone that comes back either from Lindsay or her friend Jen, who also is now on her account. Charla Rudd says, "Why worry about them? You obviously have a lot more to worry about. I'm surprised that with everything going on that y'all would even care." Okay, I think that's pretty fair. I don't think that's a huge judgment or saying anything in a bullying manner. And Chronically Rara responded, "Lindsay is really tired of being bullied. Can't understand why a 60-second video regarding that triggers you. As her friend, I'm praying for you." So not the nicest. This is a common thread that we'll see through all these videos, is that when there's like someone critical in the comments, oh my God, they are ready to respond. And literally they're like, I have 10 minutes to live. And they're like, but first let me respond to this TikTok comment. It's like, and also and this is going to continue, but going back and forth and going, hey, it's Lindsay's friend here. Lindsay, and defending her, but through the account. But then the next comment, a second later, it's like, back into herself, like saying, I never said that, defending herself in her account. So obviously the friend's no longer on the account anymore. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, she's like, oh, my account's been taken over by my friend. But then one comment that's like, okay, accurate. But then the next one is like, I never said that. It's like, wait, I thought your friend had the account. Weird. Okay, anyways. Response. I guess it is a stressful time, but I mean, come on. But they do have supporters, because the comment below, it says, to the people judging her, maybe Lynn just wants or needs the support and love from others. Be kind. Okay, fair enough. Night Nurse 40 says, I thought there was going to be a private Facebook account. Why bother with TikTok anymore? Why get upset over people that don't matter? And Chronically Rara writes back, outrageous accusations that question the content of my character. That's where I have a problem. But we do the majority of our updates on Facebook now. So this is the same video. Yeah, so again, like just what I said, like I don't like that. It's like, I thought your friend took over this account. Comment is on the same video, and it seems to have now jumped back to Lindsay, that she is now responding herself because she's saying my character. So I guess Jen gave the phone back. Seems a little odd as well, but okay. Lisa Carr 08 says, looking back, I can't find any information on what her illness is. I'm not the only one who has asked. Can you clarify? Hugs. Okay, so very upbeat and positive in my opinion. And then Chronically Rara says she has, so it's back to Jen now, because she's saying she has several autoimmune diseases that are working against her. DM and I'll try to answer. This has been answered many times, Jen. Okay, that's interesting. I mean, the whole point of the account and the whole point of Chronically Rara's, social media presence existing is supposed to be spreading awareness about all the illnesses that she has, and specifically invisible illness or chronic illness, where, as you could say, someone like me who's judgmental and going, I don't see why you're sick or whatever, and then trying to explain to people like me and to other people who are haters, this is how it works. Like, this is what it looks like. Don't judge, whatever. And I'm okay with that. But then it's like when someone asks a question, the whole point of the whole, channel, the whole thing is supposed to be raising awareness about this. And you go DM me, I'll explain it to you. It's like, that doesn't seem like a great way to spread awareness or education. Like if you asked a question in class, like, hello, teacher, I have a question about the homework. And she's like, DM me, please. But I don't know. It just seems weird. Like, well, aren't you here to teach us all? But okay. And the whole account is supposed to be about raising awareness for rare diseases and illnesses and terminal illness and this specific EDS. Yet you have to DM to get the information. I don't really understand the logic of that, but I digress. And then Mariah Bug 123 says, are you afraid? You look so content. And then Chronically Rara says, yes, she's afraid and sad, but heavily medicated too. Thank you for the question. Illness doesn't always look great. Same for everyone. I want to point out that I have no questions about people that have chronic illnesses or pain and it doesn't show on their body. I don't think that everyone has to show pain or show illness in the same way. That's not the question here, that she looks too healthy. The question is, can you explain what's going on? You're saying you're dying, but yet there's a few things that aren't adding up. So as far back as 2018, Chronically Rara talks about death with dignity, and she'll often talk about this in her live videos. Again, back in 2019, she says in her Instagram post that she is deteriorating and that she's a DNR, do not resuscitate. Your Venmo is on your bio.
Hi TikTok friends, this is Chronically Rara coming to you from bed doing terminally ill people things. I noticed that people have been putting their Cash App and their Venmo on their bio, so I figured I would try it out myself, just to see what happens. Dying is frankly expensive, and we could always use the money. Things that it would go towards. Savings.
It's like, I walked up to the bank just to see what would happen if I asked them for money while, handing them a note, just to see what happens. I don't know. I think probably people would pay you. That's probably what would happen. So when I found this, I was like, okay, now I feel totally justified, because I went back and forth a little bit, like, okay, should I even do this? Is this like being completely insane? And I'm going to piss a lot of people off and, throwing into question a bunch of stuff. But it's like when it becomes, hey, pay me, hey, give me Venmo money for existing. That's when I feel like I have a right to investigate. This is an investment in my future, and not really, but it's an investment of my money. And we all work hard for our money, some more than others, but I don't know what I'm saying. But this is when I felt justified to be able to to criticize. And yes, RK, I am.
Because COVID happened and left my husband unemployed. Savings because COVID will inevitably happen again and shut down the country. Medical bills. Lots and lots of medical bills. A little bit of savings for my husband and daughter because my life insurance decided to dump me. That was so nice of them. Four-wall stuff. If you know, you know. And then, of course, finding a way to pay it forward because that's just what I like to do. If people are gracious with me, I like to turn around and be gracious with others. So I'll let you know how it turns out. With that being said, thank you for watching me. I know how you could be spending your time and you chose to spend your time with me, and for that, I am truly grateful.
And I think, using the term terminally ill turned me off as well because, I think that has a definite connotation to me, like probably short term, the urgency is there to donate today because, you don't have time. I'm going to be gone soon. Like I said, 2 years later, we're still here. She seems okay, relatively. I don't think it's fair to say terminal illness patient person here. Hi, like, chronic illness, fine. If you have that and that's what you're raising awareness about, wonderful. But, oh, thank you. Oh, wow. Hold on. Stand by. Thanks, Blaze Goddess. I caught it this time. Thank you so much. So everyone can become a member now. Thank you to Blaze Goddess. She is the goddess and the MVP of this stream. Hold on. This one's for you.
Why do you follow me if you don't already own my book?
That's a song for you. And also, this is you.
I'm kind of a beast.
You're kind of a beast. For real, though. Anyways, okay. Back to it. 2 different GoFundMes. Okay, well, I don't know what the heck. This is an editing thing. And people were like, you should have, put, let me put myself here. You should have put like kind of warning on this. I didn't realize it until after it already like exported out and, was uploaded. So there's like a weird graphic thing that happens. So anyways, so she also, in addition to Venmo, she also had a GoFundMe for her husband, who she claims, and his job that he lost during COVID was a performer, a musician at bars. So I guess he had his music stolen, but that was a separate account that they were trying to raise money for. It's just like, there's just a lot that they're asking for. Okay, we can skip this part. Not that exciting. Okay, here's the husband. You can't really hear him that well, but basically what he says is, yes, Lindsay tends to sort of, exaggerate things, and I think she's okay, and, I don't know if she's really dying, if that's the term that I would use. So that's what he says, but we can try to hear it, but it sounds really bad. He's like in a fan room. Facebook page.
Videos are finished, or what's being said during the videos when she's recording. Thank you, Ashley. I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. But Lindsay, the EDS is a strange animal. A lot of you on here have either dealt with it or are dealing with it personally.
So he's like, okay, it's really hard to tell, whatever. Okay, so that's him. Actually, during this taping, they actually posted a 45-minute live video on the private Facebook page that I'm a member of. So I haven't even had the chance to watch that yet. But in the first 5 minutes, Jen had said that she didn't want to do the live video, that she's just trying to help her friend who's chronically sick, and that Lindsay wanted to come on live, and that she felt so bad, but she really wanted to talk to everyone on Facebook. So
she's pretty exhausted. Yeah, I wasn't big on doing this tonight because I was kind of hoping she would rest. So,
Hey, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
So Sarah, now this is getting into the drama as well. Sarah, welcome. Sarah was a friend, and then also switched teams and contacted me too and said, she's full of shit, basically. And I feel, her saying this, I feel totally misled as well. So she started making content on her TikTok account about how Lindsay is full of shit. And so that's who they were talking to in the comments. Now, okay, so that's basically it. Then I went through just some more examples. I went through the OnlyFans. Here's that a little bit, just a preview of that. Showing off that she's got this page and that it's good for the family because they can raise money because of her, funeral costs and whatnot. So anyways, that sort of wraps her up for the beginning overview. Now I'm going to go through some of the other things that happened in the time since the first video. Those were like the main parts. # pay piggy. Anyways, okay. So actually, hold on. Let me stay on that page. So after I made this video, it was on January 4th, 2021. Chronically Rara herself, the queen of the hour, she commented, and this appears to be her real YouTube account. And, she posted videos from 5 years ago. She posted this one from 4 years ago. Oh God. They're very random. I mean, it's very just, I don't know.
What the hell is on here?
It appears to be, this is truly her account, basically, is what I mean to say about this. And like why you would have someone follow you around with a camera while, experiencing this gruesome pain or whatever's going on here is beyond me.
Gus, I need you to step.
But, it just to show that it looks like it's really her. Anyway, so she commented, and I pinned it to the top because I'm like that. And she said, "You do know I'm suing you now for defamation of character and am pressing charges against you for unauthorized distribution of copyrighted materials. My OnlyFans material is all copyrighted by myself and OnlyFans, a paid private subscription service where both the website and myself specifically state, quote, you must not reproduce, distribute, modify, create, blah, 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 blah." Okay, so she posts like this legalese there. "Not only are you defaming my character by telling baseless lies, because I've never met you a day in my life, but you seem to be the authority on my medical condition. Putting anything from my OnlyFans up without my express consent, which you don't have and will never have, falls under the laws of revenge porn. And yes, I'm absolutely pressing charges against you. What you're doing is not entertainment. It's outright harassment and it's wrong and illegal." Okay, so a couple things there. This is literally her Twitter account. So I didn't take anything from anywhere. I didn't pay for her OnlyFans. I just got it on Twitter. So sue yourself is what I said. That was her Twitter account. I don't know if it still exists or whatever, but she was posting it herself. So that's bullshit. The second thing is that I never met you in a day in my life. Literally in the beginning, I'm like, I do not know her. I do not know Lindsay personally. So not that that disclaimer makes it, I have a free pass forever, but it does mean that I did not try to make it seem like I know this person in real life. So that was that. Okay, let me talk about the emails too, because she emailed me privately as well. And, this is where I sort of like backed off and I was like, okay, we gotta pump the brakes just a tad here. And I blocked her email so you can't see it. Hopefully all of them. Yeah, it looks like it. Okay, so this came to my email account. I've never shared this before. I told people that it existed, but I never shared it before. Okay, so she said, "This is an official letter of a cease and desist, though I've already sent you one, and you keep knowingly harassing, stalking, defaming my character, all of which are federal offenses, by the way. And yes, I've turned you into the FBI. As a matter of fact, I have a meeting with them tomorrow, and I will gladly forward you the names of the people I am dealing with. Also, no, I am retaining counsel and suing you for harassment, stalking, inciting violence against me and my family, and defamation of character. I forwarded all your videos to the FBI, and my legal team will be in contact with you. You also have 24 hours to take the videos of my daughter you have down. I don't care that you shaded her face out. She is a minor, and what you're doing is illegal. And the FBI has been notified of your actions and will be notified again when I speak with them tomorrow. I also suggest you actually learn what Ehlers-Danlos, okay, then all the ones. So she sent me some documentation about the diseases that she has. Okay, and go there, sent me some links, go to the Cleveland Clinic website for heart stuff because they're number one. Okay, all that stuff. I'd say you really need to get a life because Christ, do you? But how much do you hate yourself that you get joy out of thinking you know about other people's lives, harassing them, stalking them online, inciting violence against them because that's what you're doing? How miserable of a person are you? Do you need a hug or something? You realize what you are doing is highly illegal and could kill any chance of a future for you. And you are so young still. You don't want that. And I am certainly don't want that. And I certainly don't want that for you. I choose to believe that you're better than that. And if you were a real adult, you have a lot of growing up to do. You'd have come to me directly because I have gladly answered any questions you have. But if you keep on harassing me like you are, I will not hesitate to make sure you see the inside of a jail cell for a very long time. So stop immediately, get a life, go for a walk, get a puppy, get a job, get a different hobby. It's like, she's not wrong, but also projection, because you also should get a job and a puppy and go for a walk and get a life. Also, my name is Chronically Rara. Okay. Also, my name is Chronically Rara is copyrighted with a pending trademark. So anytime you use my name without my expressed written consent, you are committing copyright infringement. This is the last email I will send about the issue. Narrator. It was not the last email she sent me. Cease and desist your harassment and defamation campaign immediately. If you have questions for me, you come to me and I will gladly answer them. Hell, I'm willing to Zoom or Skype with you if you want. I don't want to go down the legal path with you, the others. I'm making it my job to make sure they see a jail cell because they're going beyond illegal. But with you, for some reason, I freaking feel empathy and I don't, wait, let me move myself, hold on. I'm special, guys. Am I an empath?
I happen to be an empath myself.
Okay. Where is it? Okay. I don't want to go down the legal path with you, the others. I'm making it my job to make sure they see a jail cell because they're going beyond illegal. But with you, for some reason, I freaking feel empathy and don't want you to have to experience an arduous legal process and possible jail time. You are too young for that. So please stop. Just stop. I'm glad she thinks I'm young. She made a response and said that I was a college kid living in my parents' basement. I was like, that's nice. That's nice that she thinks I'm in college. Okay. Here's what I said back. Okay. Is this burning hot tea? Okay, this is hard to see, but I said, hey, Lindsay, thanks for the heads up. I'll keep a lookout for the FBI. I'm such an asshole. I'm sorry. I'll keep a lookout for the FBI and your legal team, and we'll answer any questions they have. I, however, stand by my videos and, in my opinion, have not harassed, stalked, or defamed your character, but obviously you have a right to your opinion, so I will not be taking anything down. Thanks for your email, and I hope you are well. I think that was my little nod to be well. Hope you are well. Okay, so that's what I said back. And then, despite her saying that was the last time she was going to email me about the issue, she emailed me again about the issue. Okay, let's see. Okay, so then she responded. Then I am filing charges against you because posting other people's minor children is illegal. I don't think it is illegal because every vlogger in the entire United States would be arrested immediately. As well as internet harassment and stalking. Also, when your life comes up in discovery, your employer, little did she know, I was unemployed. Well, self-employed, which I still am. Your employer, university, if applicable, was not, will also be notified. I am also filing suit against you and your parents because we know they know what you do. My parents do not know what I do, and I don't think they comprehend what YouTube is, to be quite frank. My dad has never owned a computer, has a cell phone, begrudgingly has a cell phone. So if someone contacted him by carrier pigeon, I guess like you'd have to start from square one. Like, what is a browser? What is your thing? You have a TikTok? Like, he would have no idea. So you have to start from ground zero with him. And then my mom and I don't have a good relationship. So I'm sure she would love to, commiserate with you about how horrible I am. So please, by all means, I would love, I would love you to contact her and see how long it takes to you decide that was a bad idea. Anyways, okay, I just thought that was funny. So she's going to sue me and my parents. That's how pissed she is. I guess she thinks I'm like 12. Maybe I thought like she thinks I'm like in an accelerated program. Maybe, like I'm so young. This is like actually, it's working. My skincare routine. Everyone's been hounding me about my skincare routine, guys. The FBI has been hounding me about my skincare routine. And here I am to tell you. Soap and water. Okay. All right. I'll be suing you and your parents for pain and suffering, illegal posting of a minor child without the express consent of the parent for purposes of harassment, internet harassment, stalking, and inciting violence. I really wish the cops or the legal system cared about posting minors on the internet, but they don't. So, you know, what can I do? Because of you, my child needs trauma therapy. Yeah, I'm sure that's because that's what my mom would say too. Someone on the internet's causing my child to have trauma therapy, not me. Anyway, sorry. I'll be sending this to my attorney as well, along with the local police and FBI. I'll see you in court. Just know you have no fucking clue what you're talking about. You make yourself look like an idiot because I have sworn affidavits from my entire medical team. Why would you have sworn affidavits? From your entire they force them into a sworn affidavit? Interesting. Okay, sorry. Let me stick to the point. I have sworn affidavits from my entire medical team, scans, labs, and over 25,000 pages of medical records. What do you have? Reddit? Some guy who's butthurt over the fact I filed police reports against him for sending porn to my minor child's phone and is also literally stalking, harassing, and inciting violence against me? I have no idea what she's talking about there. I have no clue who she's speaking of. I don't know who this person is, who this man is. I don't know. So this is not part of the story that I'm aware of. I also filed reports against him and his girlfriend with the university we went to and they still attend. And he'll most likely be expelled because the university doesn't want the publicity. I'm willing to bring down on them. Or what about the fat medic whom I've never met, but she seems to be an expert in EDS, Addison's, autonomic dysfunction, SPECT scans, MRI, CTs, and x-rays, stuff I've shared online. Temporal lobe epilepsy? That's right, she's not. I think that was a person who was also doing and sharing content about Chronically Rara and sort of in the anti-Rara group, but I don't know much about it. And then she says, I gave you a chance to not be stupid because I'm an idiot who tried to see you as a human being instead of a complete waste of oxygen, space, and human life that you are. Now I'm going to make sure you sit in jail cell for a very, very long time because bringing my child into this is a federal crime, and you said you wouldn't remove the posts with her likeness in it, and that you explicitly stated that you were going to keep on harassing, stalking, and encouraging violence against me. Have a great day. Okay, so again, for the record, I've never received any sort of legal anything at all. And just keep in mind how, obviously she's upset. If you couldn't tell, she's mad. How mad she is, and then the ultimate switch that we're about to see happen right here. So I don't know if I didn't screenshot it or what, but it was like one sentence, and it was like, would you like to come on a live stream with me to explain better? Because obviously I don't understand what I've done wrong. And I did know what I've done wrong. And it was a bait. It was a bait to get her to say yes. And at the time I was like, this will be great video. And then I thought about it again. I was like, actually, this is horrible and I shouldn't do this. Okay. But I asked her, hey, do you want to go on a live stream? We can talk about it. And then she said, I will do that. That's frankly the most mature idea you've had since starting all of this bullshit. So I'll be more than happy to come on a live stream with you and set the record straight. All I ask is for you not to talk about my daughter. Can you show a little bit of grace? Do not give this out. Then she gives me her cell phone number, okay, which I never asked for. Give me a call this week and we will get something figured out. Okay. And I felt like, this woman is telling me she's going to the FBI 1 second. And then the next second, she's giving me her phone number, her personal phone number. I'm like, okay. So that's why I was like, this is bad. So I stopped responding. I was like, okay, get a clue, Kayla. Stop being this way. So I stopped. And then she responded again with, I don't think I even said anything back. And she said, I was just thinking about you. Checked my email and yours was the first one. Great minds. Great minds think alike. Me and her, you know, we're simpatico. I've got my calendar in front of me because I have some doctor's appointments coming up. This week is actually my lighter week. Tomorrow through Friday, I can do any time, blah, blah, blah. I'm not a morning person and have to have at least a cup of coffee in my system to function. And next week, I can do the 16th and the 18th with relative open availability. After that, I would have to let you know because April is very busy with doctor's appointments and stuff for my daughter because she has some medical needs as well. I have a professional Zoom we can use if you need it. Just let me know and I can set up the appointment and send you the secure link. Safety won't be an issue because everything I do is encrypted. Okay, so you won't need to worry about safety. You have my number now, so don't hesitate to call or text if you need anything or have any questions. P.S. When you do have kids, which you have a good decade, so don't rush it. But Cincinnati Children's and Rady's in San Diego, phenomenal. My daughter has blah, blah, blah. Okay, I fly her back to San Diego when needed. Okay, their team is the number one in the country. She also has this. Okay, she's telling me about her daughter. Okay, whatever. I've also attached some reading material about Ehlers-Danlos and dystonia. Anything I send to is always going to be peer-reviewed research, but I can always translate science to English. You know, my bestie, great minds think alike. No longer the worst piece of shit human wasting of oxygen anymore because I gave her the opportunity to have some more airtime. So yeah, so that's where that conversation ended in the DMs, or I guess technically in the emails. And then I don't know what the timeline was exactly. I don't remember which email, and I made several videos about Lindsay. I made, let me think, 1, 2, 3, 4 total. And okay, so we don't have to go through all of them, but basically, this one was all about this live stream. I just reviewed the live stream, and it was just a bunch of, you know, she's allegedly like in hospice and sleeping 25 hours a day, but then somehow making these like 2-hour live streams. And then this one was after. Okay, so this was after she said that she was gonna, you know, go to the FBI and sue me. But the funny part is that, you know, as much as I don't know. I think it's funny when you become part of the content. Now, there's some ethical boundaries with it, obviously, and I think I played with fire. And I'm going to give myself the excuse of like I was just starting on YouTube, but it was like a moment of like, oh, like I'm becoming part of the drama, and people were sending me stuff like, look, she's talking about you. So, and that's when I, again, decided to sort of back off and go, okay, let me go cover some other stuff. But this is the video. This is from, let's see the date on it. Hold on. 1 year ago, March 5th, 2021.
You know, this Kayla's world, whatever the hell she is. Some college kid living out of her parents' basement. Like, let's just keep it 100.
I have no idea who this broad is, and I really don't understand what she gains either. Except for a lawsuit, which, you know, whatever.
Rah. Rah. Okay. And at one point she had private or deleted, or she didn't delete it because it came back, but she privated her TikTok. That didn't last. She reopened it to the public shortly after. Then she had a Facebook group where she was trying to have like, I think it was like 25 moderators or something for her, you know, private Facebook group. And you had to attend a 2-day online training that she was going to give to become a moderator of her group. So there was a lot of, I mean, I just find that funny. I just think it's funny. Then she said she was no longer in hospice. And, oh, this is Sarah. This is her friend who was very supportive of Lindsay, and then said, actually, no, I've been bamboozled too. I'm out of it. Yeah, here's some of her stuff. It's sad when you're there for someone for 18 years, then you hold them accountable for scamming people, then boom, they drop you as a friend. Glad to see this friendship was clearly one-sided. I'm good here. And then this is just more information. This is just covering, this is a throwback. This is totally unrelated to this story, but this is when, technically it was our dog at the time, but this was Steven's dog for like 12 years. and she'd lived with us at the end of her life, and she passed away. And so I took a little break in between making videos because we were obviously very sad. But we used to have two animals were a part of this channel, and now we have just Taro, but her name was Chansey dog. And she was, she was 12 and a half. So it's not super surprising that she got sick. And I was glad that it was quick because she didn't have any pain or anything for very long. But one day she just collapsed on the floor, and then we took her to the vet, and they said, oh, it's just an infection, no problem. We gave her medication. She seemed to get better, but then as soon as the medication ran out, she got worse again. And then we took her to a different vet, and they said that she was, she had a huge problem with her spleen, and that there was really nothing they could do, especially at her age. So she passed away. But let me play that part. And some of the videos you can speak, and it was a very Chansey. And there's Tara, obviously. Very, very sad time for our family. Her name is Chansey, and she was the love of my life. She always hung out with me when I recorded videos and would work in my office all day, and I miss her tremendously. Aww. And if you are the type who prays, or if you're someone who has well wishes, please send them to Chansey. She's in doggy heaven now, and we love her so much, and she brought us so much joy. And I just wanted to share with everybody that I took a little break from producing content. She's mostly so cute. Because I was, just devastated by that loss. And I wanted to take time for myself and for my boyfriend. Chansey, we love you and we miss you so much. So thank you for joining my... Poor Chansey. We love her. Okay, so that's Chronically Rara. So, all right, that was back in 2021. Where is she now? How is she doing? She's still on that grind, baby. She is still doing things, talking about illness. She posts a lot. She goes away every so often and goes, I'm leaving TikTok. They're shadow banning me for no reason. But then she's right back to it. And again, on a public account, she could easily go private, and she doesn't. So let's see.
I feel bad for complaining because I don't want to be a negative Nancy, but I just want one day, just one day where I'm not sick, where I'm not nauseated, where I'm not in pain, where I'm migraine free or pain free, where I have energy. Like, I just want one day. That's all I want.
So, not the same thing. I think this content is much more digestible, much more like, okay, you want to explain your experience with chronic illness? Go for it. But I think what bothered me then was the urgency, the asking for donations, the calling herself and labeling herself a terminally ill patient. And then obviously there was, moments of her. There was one where she was like at Topgolf. And I was shocked that she would post this. Like, does this make any sense whatsoever? Because it was like not even that long after making the claims of like, I can barely move. And then she's like out at Topgolf hitting golf balls and just saying like, I'm having a good time. I was shocked. But so she's still around. She's still talking about, illness. She also has a online business where she makes jewelry.
I just wanted to show off a bracelet.
And she calls it the rare zebra, but she says that it's the rare zebra. And she says it's pronounced zebra because she's Polish. I don't know. There's always something.
Bracelet that I just finished. I made it for my best friend, and I still have to put the clasps on.
So if you want to buy something from her, you can. She had a Black Friday sale. But yeah, she's doing stuff like she's...
Come hang out at the Bengals.
She's going to the Bengals game, for God's sakes, like I'm supposed to give you money out of my paycheck because you're terminally ill and you have moments to live. And then a year later, you're at the Bengals game. I see where my donations have gone. I don't know. Yeah. I think she just loves attention is what I'm saying. Yes. And I see one of the comments. Yeah. So there's part of the video where she said that she got a diagnosis that they said her lifespan was going to be like 15 years or 11 years or something like that, but that she was going to do the doctor better and die faster. And that was like her take on what the doctor had said. Now, again, she also does not like doctors. She doesn't take their opinion. She goes, my doctor said this. Or if she doesn't like the diagnosis or whatever prognosis that they give her, she's like, oh, idiot. You know, I know better. I know my body. But then she'll say, if a doctor says, oh, you're terminally ill, she's like, oh, the doctor said it. The doctor said, you know. There was also something with, what was I going to say? I forget. There was some other issue. I mean, the big issue that she got caught up in recently, and recently being this year, was she was raising funds for another TikTok family, 2 TikTok families that make content about their kids having terminal illness, like actual terminal illness. And since that video came out, we can look at it. Since that video, I posted the video, all of the children involved have passed away. And apparently, according to the parents, they never received any money from Chronically Rara. They never were contacted. They were never approached by her. She was just raising money on their behalf. And then, where's the money? I guess Lindsay then, after she started getting called out on TikTok, offered to pay. And then one of the mothers said, don't even bother. Like, you're weird and a scammer. I don't want to be involved in this. So that was an update from
what you have done is not only
November 10th. And it was between Dub Frost. I can just play a little bit of it.
What you have done is not only tacky and disgusting and abhorrent and wrong, but it's illegal, and I'm not going to let you get away with it.
Oh man, that was good. This is the same, my old setup in the same spot before I got the green screen.
Little throwback for you.
Okay, also, if you're like a deep, if anyone out there is like a deep Chronically Rara lore understander, like it's the most extreme niche I've ever been a part of. There's this one TikTok that she made way before I ever made a video about her, probably back in maybe it was 2019 or 2020. But it was before like her big thing went viral, and she's doing that thing where I said she's on like the hospital bed and she's like peeking out, she was at her house. I don't know where she was. She was on some sort of like surface, and her husband was filming, and he's like, "Happy Thanksgiving," and then she's like, "Gobble gobble." So this is like deep lore that I tried to include in this video.
On today's episode, if you remember my first ever video on this channel, we covered who is Chronically Rara cards, who posted this.
God, I remember that microphone had so many issues. Oh, here's the I did use it. Here's the golfing one.
Still alive, and she's actually up and about and doing stuff like this now. So I've done several videos.
Look how insane I am. Look how insane this is. It's not only me 4 times, plus me in the middle of it, plus me on the side of it. Someone screenshot this and be like, do you know who's narcissistic? You know when a narcissist when it's just me. Okay, I'm joking, but am I? So basically the families involved, they, said they don't want to be involved with her. They weren't told about anything. And it was Willow. I forget what the name of the account was. Well, this is hers, Erin Mew. And her daughter passed away and was, caught up in this whole thing. And I just think they're unwilling participants in the whole scandal. And Chronically Rara, maybe she meant to pay them, but because she has such a shady history, I just, because it wasn't in their name, like directly to them, it was going to her bank, like Chronically Rara's Venmo account, and then it was supposed to go to them. It's just, complicated. And I think at this point, just like give it up, Lindsay. But then after that, she bounced right back, and she was, still making content, still trying to build a community of chronic illness warriors. And like I said,
home and
having a small business. She's entrepreneurial. And then also she's got a whole like narrative about being Muslim, which I didn't know. Apparently she's Muslim, and she's explaining like being a white woman who's Muslim. So there's so many layers to this. But that's the basics. That is like a very rough ketchup and mustard of Chronically Rara and what she's been up to. So yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else that happened that's important or interesting about her. Not really. That was it. And if you want to follow the saga, she posts 100 times a day. So I'm sure you can you can check her out. And I'm sure I'll be getting an email soon about the FBI returning. And she's not the only one that threatened to call the FBI on my behalf. There's another person who I think is possibly worse than Rara. Rara has issues, obviously. But her, I don't know. It's hard to put them on like a scale, I guess, a pyramid, if you will. But this one concerned me the most out of all of the ones I covered about, potential illness fakers. Now, this is another one that has not, and may never face any sort of court action because, she's asking for donations. She's not saying she has cancer. She's saying she has a different illness, mitochondrial disease, which is very misunderstood or not understood in science. So it's one of those that's like, okay, take my word for it kind of things. But the thing that concerns me the most about her, and she, just to spoil the plot once again, she's still alive. She's still on TikTok asking for donations, insinuating she's got days to live. And I did this video back in February 2021, and she said she's got, like any day now I'm going to be gone and my kids are going to be without a mother. She also emailed me, and the thing with her, the emails with Chronically Rara, I sort of can in my head confirm, or I don't know. In my head, there's enough corroboration because she has her email listed on her YouTube account, and her YouTube account shows videos that are of Lindsay. So I'm like, okay, this is most likely coming from actually Lindsay. With Amarissa, her emails are not, it says Amarissa on it, like as her, name, but anyone can just do that. Anyone can just email me and say they are someone, and her email wasn't posted anywhere. So I believe it was her, but I don't want to share that because, if it's not her, then it's just all bullshit anyways. But basically this one was, she said she has a terminal illness, and all of her children also have a terminal illness, and that she hopes that her kids die first before her so that they don't have to live life without her there. So that was where I was like, hold up, what the hell? So let's get to this part. And also there was some intrigue here because she uses eyeshadow in some of her TikToks, and there is, to make it look like she's got, hold on, let's go to her page today, and then we'll go back in time. Let's mix it up a little bit, because I've noticed it again recently. Let's see. Okay, so here's her page. Tough night. She does a lot of like lip syncing videos. And it says, okay, this is from 4 days ago. It says, I'm still here. I'm still fighting to create memories, to learn, to grow, to heal, to love, to inspire. Thank you for being on this journey with me. Okay.
Okay, so final part. Go back and watch all the other parts if you need to catch up. So sorry it's taken so many videos, but as you can see, it's not a normal, like my life isn't normal, and the diagnoses that me and my kids have aren't your everyday diagnoses. So where we left off, I a couple months ago started doing therapy, and it was an effort to not feel out of control in
well, that's good.
Being able to let go. I was having a very hard time knowing that my children were going to lose their mom at such young ages. And I just, it was very painful for me. So I started working with the therapist. And when I started working with the therapist, we realized that the trauma work that I thought I had done wasn't really enough.
Okay, well, this is her now. Now, this is not the eyeshadow that I'm talking about. But you hear her talking today, right? Like, okay, they're going to, I'm going to die. 2 years ago, it was like the same thing, the same exact thing. Like, I'm close. Like, it's about to any day now. Okay, here's the eyeshadow example. Now, I speculated in the video that the eyeshadow thing was an attempt to make it look like she's got some sort of eye disorder. And the person who emailed me, who I believe to be Amarissa, but can't confirm necessarily, said, no, it is actually a condition that I have that makes my eyes discolored sometimes. But it's to the point where every day it looks different. Like today it's purpley pinkish. And then sometimes it's, well, I guess this is a filter on top, but it's like more, like exaggerated. And then here it's like normal. Like obviously it looks like makeup. So you put makeup on top of the discoloration, I guess. And then here it's back to sort of being like, mystical or whatever. I don't know. So, okay, so let's go back to the video. So she's up there still doing the thing, still wearing the cannula. Oh, that's her. Okay, hold on. Let's just play it. I forget what I said in this one.
And to me, this is just the biggest red flag that I could ever
I did that so much before.
see, and it shocked me, honestly.
Pray for me.
Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kayla, and I have another story about a TikToker who has some questionable things on their feed, and I'm going to go into a lot of details. Trigger warning right now. This one is a little bit more serious than the other videos I've made in the past. I usually try to keep like somewhat of a jovial tone. This one's going to be a little bit more serious because it does involve children. And right off the top, I want to say I do not know this person in real life. I do not know any more than what I've seen online. I'm putting pieces together based on my own opinions. Also, please do not send anyone I talk about hate. The support.
Yeah, same rules apply. Okay, whatever, we get it, Kayla. All right, don't send anyone hate.
Areas right now. So without further ado, let's start from the beginning. When I first came across Life with Amarissa on TikTok, I was told to look at this page because this woman appeared to put eyeshadow on her eyes and below to make it look like maybe she had some sort of discoloration on her eyes.
Hey guys, I just wanted to update you. I'm still really struggling to catch my breath, and my heart's struggling a lot to keep up, but I'm still fighting.
It just looks a little odd because it's eyeshadow on top and the bottom. I mean, maybe that's just a style that I'm unaware of. Or is it supposed to look like this is caused by her illness?
Style I'm unaware of.
In the comments, some people were debating whether she put eyeshadow on or if this was caused by her illness, which she claims is terminal mitochondrial disease. I don't have a whole lot of information. Actually, it seems like no one has a whole lot of information about mitochondrial disease because it is rare. And she didn't really clear up any of the questions going on. So she just has the video and she kind of leaves it to you to make your own interpretations, whether she was just putting eyeshadow on in kind of an odd way or if this was actually caused by her illness. As you'll see throughout some of her videos, there's nothing there. There's no eyeshadow. She looks totally normal, blank slate. And then some you'll see pink, some you'll see orange, and then this purple. I just thought it was kind of interesting and leave it at that. Amarissa's account starts in 2019, but if you go onto Facebook, she actually started documenting her journey with mitochondrial disease on Facebook back in like 2012. However, it wasn't her battle with the disease, it was her son, her oldest son, who allegedly has this disorder. So back then she was raising money for certain walks, she was posting about his journey, posting photos. It looks like he might have been in a wheelchair at one point. And she has 2 other children who then she says also.
See, this is where I started to go, okay, you know, I guess the outcome is better that she eventually switched it seems to focusing on herself, but it looks like almost the beginning of what could possibly be like a by proxy situation. Now, obviously I'm nobody, I know nothing about anything, so I'm not, you know, saying that that's what it is, but if you're familiar with like that one famous case, Gypsy Rose, you know, that was a Munchausen's by proxy case where the person who's in charge tells the child they have a disorder, disease, and they're the ones who are running the show. And it's a way to, you know, garner attention online. There's a new phenomenon called Munchausen's by internet, which basically is the same thing as Munchausen's and Munchausen's by proxy. It's been called something else now. I think they updated the terms. Like there's a different term for it, and I apologize. I don't know it offhand right now. But basically it's like, you know, people who want to get attention on the internet will come up with these scenarios, these things, and they may or may not have what they're actually saying. Some of it's a money-making scheme. It's pretty, you know, simple. They want to make money. They know they can appeal to an emotional heartstring. And some of it's more complicated, where I think in this case, it's not so much, it is about money. There is a money component for sure, but it's more about attention. It's more about people going, oh, warrior, prayers for you, like, love you. Oh my gosh, like, you are the best. And just continually having that supply of attention.
Also had the disorder.
Okay, so here's where things get weird, and I actually discovered this after I recorded my on-camera part of this video.
Okay,
children.
It's sort of interesting, but basically it's just she's talking about all the kids and like when they got diagnosed, and it changes a couple times, you know, depending on what day you're seeing it.
And here's a question that someone asked that I thought was interesting.
Okay, this is the one that's like the one that is like, okay, this is the crux of this story and why it's interesting. So as you can see, it's just she's making like a what do you call it, a stitch on TikTok, which is basically when you take someone else's video and you make it your own video by reacting to their video. So very meta like this in some ways. It says, my 3 boys. So this is from 2019 July. So we're going back in time. 2012 was when the Sun, she had the page for the Sun. Now it's 2019 and she's talking about my kids should go first. 2022, she's still talking about my illness and whatever and raising money and stuff. So it's a long time to be terminally ill, I believe, I think personally, but you know, miracles happen, I guess. My 3 boys and I all have a terminal illness. I wonder who will pass first. I want my boys to live a long life, but I also don't want them raised by parents who were abusive. So I think it would be better for them to die before me, but to face the idea of my 3 boys dying haunts my dreams. And I was saying like, yeah, I hope it haunts your dreams. That is probably every parent's, you know, worst nightmare. And to even suggest that, you know, I want my boys to live a long life, but it's like, I don't know. That just shocked me completely. And then here's again, like, okay, 2022, she's talking about her, oh geez, screenshot. 2022, she's still talking about like her illness and her prognosis and whatever. This is what she was talking about in 2020.
See, it seems like the last few weeks, it's really been ramping up again for where she's saying that she only has limited time left. You know, she doesn't know how long she's gonna make it.
Her body is ready for peace. I think that's insinuating death.
This one says, pain and love show me I am alive in this beautiful world. I am still fighting, but my body is ready for peace.
Opinion. She says that
It says, Mito has caused stroke-like episode, and this time I've lost ability to walk. But I am home with my boys, fighting until God calls me home. Now, it says 5 days ago, but this is from like 2020.
She's fighting until God calls me home. So kind of more, see you soon, I love you forever.
I love you. Okay, then it says, never goodbye, just see you soon, I love you forever. And then this one. If I die, I want everyone to know.
Everyone to know.
She talks about being a mom, and she puts like this whole thing, and there's a lot. We can keep playing it.
How much that meant to her. Again, this is from April of 2020. She says, it's not goodbye, just see you again. I love you all so much. I want you all to know how much you touched my life. So it's almost like, I want you to know how much you've touched my life. I'm out. I'm leaving. I'm dying. Here's one from January where she's showing a picture of her children hugging her, and she's saying, not ready to say goodbye.
She says she has heart failure, organ failure. She's got respiratory issues.
Heart failure, kidney failure. Heart failure is worsening. Heart failure, LV aneurysm, multi-organ failure.
She's had sepsis
sorry, I don't mean to laugh.
11 times
It's a lot.
in that short period of time, so from 2019 to today.
Okay, septic again, urosepsis. She has a 30% chance of survival because of her fungal infection that's causing sepsis. Organ failure, sepsis labs have worsened. Multi-organ failure because of sepsis. And again, sepsis.
Also, she has all of the online fundraisers except for GoFundMe.
Hi, my name is Amarissa, and I have 3 amazing sons, and we live each and every day with a mitochondrial disease. It is life-threatening, progressive, and no cure or treatments, which leads to a lot of hospital stays and doctor's appointments. Over the past few months, I've been going into respiratory and heart failure, and I've missed a lot of holidays with my sons. I'm getting stronger every day and will be going home soon. I would love to celebrate my 3 sons' birthdays and make it a very special day, but as a single mom, I don't have the financial means to make this as special as it could be. That's where I need help. I've created an Amazon wish list of the things that we need, and that I know my boys would love to make this day special.
So, God has really blessed me, and He's blessed a few people from TikTok that have reached out and have sent us a little bit, help, blessings, financially, and it's been amazing, and I don't have words. I'm so grateful. But I do have, in my bio, I have a link tree that has an Amazon wish list of things that I need for physical needs, but also things that my boys need, things that they want, games, toys. I have Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal all linked in there. It's in my bio. If anybody wants to help me to make a bucket list dream come true for my boys, to have Christmas in July, it would mean a lot.
Okay, so there, she's like, I want to have Christmas in July in 2020 because I don't know if I'm going to make it to real Christmas, was the insinuation there. Like, again, urgency. Like, I'm leaving the planet. We need to have Amazon delivered to my door today. And then, again, 2 years later, about to be 3 years later, hey guys, it's me. I want to update you on my diagnosis. It's like,
but in this TikTok from Christmas time, she's insinuating that all of those Amazon boxes behind her are from her TikTok following. And she's basically saying, thank you, that you guys are better than my real family. And she's doing that. It says, thank you for making a Christmas miracle happen for a family. Words will never be enough. Grateful for my TikTok family. By just lip syncing over a song, basically saying that.
Another thing that she says is that, when she's in the hospital.
Oh, yeah. Okay. This is a big debate that came up when I started covering these people. It's like, what's hospice versus, because they all say they're on hospice. Like, that's a big storyline that a lot of these people say. I'm in hospice right now. Now, there's debate between palliative care, and I had to learn the definitions, and I'm still confused. I have a feeling, and maybe I'm wrong, but I have a feeling that they're all in palliative care is one of my thoughts. The second thought I have is maybe there's a company that is sort of privy to this type of wanting, like some people want to be on hospice so that they can claim they're on hospice, and maybe they offer a service like, we do hospice for anybody. Maybe there's no, I don't know if hospice is like a specific, like, you know, term that you can only get. Usually there's like criteria, but I wonder if like a private company is saying it's hospice and it's not actually, because they all have claimed it's hospice, and like their family members will say, no, it's hospice. They're definitely on hospice, but like they're there for several years from what I understand. And it's like they're at hospice at home. So they have someone come in and do that. But like, I don't know. Palliative care is like for anybody, I guess. If you need help, if you have a medical condition, if you have anything, you can hire a palliative care nurse. But then they are all calling it hospice. I don't know. So there's lots of stuff. So she talks about hospice a lot and you know, why and how hard it is to be in hospice and whatever. But then she'll say like, I quit hospice to go to the hospital to get this treatment, and now I'm going to go back on hospice. It's like, isn't that not what it's for? Anyways, so again, she still hasn't stopped. She went private for a little bit after the video came out, and then she went back public probably 2-3 weeks later. So again, if she didn't want, I think it's worth their time perhaps to, and I say their time, worth her time to open it public, because, you know, that's the way she's going to get more donations, I think, more Venmos and PO box things, versus going private, because, you know, there's more of a churn and burn type thing with these types of people. Anyways, so that's Amarissa. A little crazy, a little scary. If you want to watch the video of the original, there's lots of things to look at. You know, not documents, but like documented timeline of everything. Okay, so let's talk about Michelle Riker for a second. This is one that I also, okay, out of all of the ones I've covered, this was the third one that never faced any sort of criminal accusations officially. Someone had asked me, hey, I think this person might be faking or might have something sketchy going on. Here are my reasons. And so I looked at it and I tended to agree. However, I tried to keep it open in the video because I wasn't sure, you know, I'm not sure about any of these people. They could all be telling the truth. There's just enough red flags, in my opinion, to ask some follow-up questions. For her, it was the most sort of, I wasn't sure. I felt okay enough to make the video as long as I made it vague enough where I was like, you know, I don't fully commit to either side. But this is so basically she was a TikToker also who was bald, and she went viral a couple times because she made this TikTok where she said that she was at a gas station and she was throwing up because of her chemo, and that someone had approached her and said that she was like, you know, gross or whatever, and that, you know, she's fighting for her life and that people are so rude, and people just really like, you know, took to this TikTok, and it grew her account pretty quickly. But then like, if you look a little deeper, she doesn't say, let me see. She doesn't say what type of cancer she had. You know, this is a debated topic a lot in when I, you know, have claimed it before, but like she had her eyebrows but didn't have her hair, and she looked like she, you know, shaved her own head. She, you know, she didn't ask directly for money, but she would, you know, talk about not being able to afford food for her kids, and she had her Venmo in her bio. So, you know, again, it wasn't like a blatant, this is so obvious, this is fake. But there was just enough I think to speculate on. And then she also had a cigarette in one of these. This one. She was holding a cigarette in the TikTok while wearing a, you know, breast cancer awareness ribbon robe. Now, a lot of people commented and said, well, you know, my grandma has cancer and she smokes and whatever. And I get that. But at the same time, every other TikTok was like, I'm working so hard to fight this for my kids. And I'm like in chemo, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm like, you know, doing everything I can. But then at the same time holding a cigarette, I'm like, okay, I don't know. It's very judgmental of me, I realize. But to me, it was like, you know, I'm giving my money to you to get better and to help pay for your treatment, and you're going to smoke a cigarette? I don't know. Just seems a little. And she denied that it was her. She said she was holding a cigarette for her friend. But, you know, I didn't buy it if I'm being honest.
Videos. And before I go any deeper into this story, I just have to show this TikTok in particular.
Duet this wherever you are.
I'm outside. Where are we going? What are we doing?
The floor is lava.
I'm in my car. I made it.
Okay, so as you can see in her hand, if you look very closely, like right here, there's like a little...
Okay, we're gonna go CSI now. We're gonna slow down the video. Zoom in more. Okay, clear. What do they say in CSI? Like sharpen?
Little cigarette, a lit cigarette that kind of passes across the camera a couple times.
It just looks like she's smoking a cigarette outside, okay? I think that's what it was. Obviously, I wasn't there to see it. Now, in a comment, she says, you know, I was holding it for my friend. Just so everyone knows, I was holding my neighbor's cigarette. She had to go inside for some reason. I was just holding it for her. Okay, sure, whatever. So here's my end, and then we'll talk about what actually happened.
Ever been in a cancer ward or not, you probably would know.
Like all the numbers are all around are improving and found out.
Okay, this is the last part. So my accusation was the way she's saying that she's doing better was almost like so off the wall in a way. It was like, not that I've had cancer or know anyone that has had cancer that has been someone I've like been in the hospital with and would know their medical records or anything or how it all works. Like I don't have any insider information. I've only known people like friends or people, you know, at work. But the way, I don't know, the way she's talking about, she's like, oh, things are looking good. I thought it was to set it up that she was going to, you know, cut the scheme. That was, and that obviously is like, you know, maybe I'm wrong. I'm not sure, but it was so vague.
I just wanted to give everybody an update. If y'all watch my lives, then y'all know that my liver functions have increased the last week and a half. But today, and I'm very excited about it, I found out that all my blood work is improving. All of my blood work, like all the way around, what they look for is improving. Not drastically the way they want it to, but it is improving. So please keep the prayers coming. It gave me a little bit more hope today to hear that numbers are all around are improving, and what I'm doing is working. And keep the prayers coming, and thank you for praying, and I just wanted to share with you guys. And be kind. So I'm waiting at the pharmacy for some prescriptions to get filled. So I had my treatment today, and the nurse comes to me, you know, and she's like, hey,
yeah, it's like my treatment, my numbers. And at this point, she never said, from what I saw, what cancer she had. So, you know, not to say like my breast cancer is improving. Like, it just seems a little odd the way she was delivering this.
Your numbers are still looking good. They're not going down. They're not staying at a steady level like they have been. They're rising. So that is great news. I'm kind of getting more and more encouraged. You know, of course, my last treatment's Wednesday. Scheduled treatment. Let me say that. My last scheduled treatment is Wednesday. So I'm really excited, then hoping these numbers continue to go good. I have scan tomorrow. From that results, we go from there. But I'm really hoping that this is like my last week of it. That's my thought process.
Of
That's
what?
what I continue to tell myself. But I just wanted to give everybody an update and keep praying, and I hope everybody has a good day.
So anyways, in conclusion, that is what I think. I am not saying either way for sure. I'm a lot less sure than I was about Chronically Rara. I did want to address it and give you my thoughts. If it turned out that she was really sick, I would be surprised, but I wouldn't be shocked if that makes sense. And if she doesn't have anything, or she has a miracle recovery and disappears from the internet, I also wouldn't be shocked or surprised. But that's my 2 cents. Thanks for watching. If you like videos like this, I know I get a little bit critical, a bit judgy.
Okay, so what do you guys think happened based on my reaction right now? She had a miracle recovery. Yay! Okay, so, you know, all of her things just improved perfectly on time for a wedding that she had. You know, the stars align sometimes. Am I right? Am I right or am I right? Let's check out her TikTok for a second. So she got married, and after, she's divorced already. Sorry to break it to everybody. The numbers did not improve on the marriage, but okay, so here we go. Here's going back in time. So these are around, this is where 2020 time. That's when she was, you know, doing these videos about improving.
Happy Monday, TikTok.
Okay, and then it switches up here. Okay, the wedding day was around May 2021. You know, her hair was already growing back in pretty good. Yeah, she drank the celery juice. Insta heal. Okay, so the wedding went on without a hitch. Yeah, so this one, okay, this was from November 2020. And then, like I said, going into the wedding in May 2021, hair's growing back. She's recovered. Let's see. Where is the one where she says that it's like she's healed? I forget. There was one where I think she addressed it. But basically, she takes a little break, and then she comes back. Is this the one?
You guys would just say a prayer and good vibes, good thoughts. Here to get results. So, fingers crossed we get good news today. Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, I'm healed. I'm done. I've recovered. She's in remission. So maybe she had it. Maybe she recovered, and you know, now she's back making regular content. She still has a Venmo and an Amazon wish list in her thing, but I think the link is wrong because I went to it and didn't, and I don't think that would be her link. And it says cancer survivor. So
clear.
I don't know. Again, it was sort of like I'm not sure either way. Could be, couldn't be. She ended up having a miracle recovery, so good for her. That was the update there. And she got divorced. So from that wedding to now, she's no longer married. Okay. Now let's move on to a video that didn't get that much attention when I posted it, and that's okay. I know you guys hate me secretly, but there's a huge update that I think you'll find interesting. So this is a woman who got caught through the legal system. So it is fair to say that she was, you know, convicted of crimes related to defrauding people for claiming she had cancer. And it's alleged, I guess, and it's not even alleged. No, it's been proven in court. So she scammed. She does an interview about it. But her whole, what do you call it? Desire, or her whole goal with the whole thing appeared to be to get her boyfriend to pay attention to her, which was step one. And then step two is to pay for the wedding that they had together through donations. Now, we'll play the story, and then I'll give you this crazy update.
Jessica Vega is 34 years old, which is shocking because when she was just 25 years old, she claimed she had just months to live thanks to a terminal leukemia diagnosis. So have we just witnessed a miracle? Nah. She just lied. But you really shouldn't be mad. It was all just one big lie for love.
Lies for love are okay.
Welcome to Kia's world, where I vent about things that make me mad on the internet. Today's story will piss you off if you don't like when really nice and caring people get ripped off. I'm going to be using clips from a 2020 interview where this scammer actually tries to justify faking cancer for a free wedding. Let's get started.
Oh, I felt like if I didn't have some way to get his attention momentarily, that's it.
Isn't there any other way to get his attention besides telling him you're dying of cancer?
I'm the mother of his children, and he wouldn't call me.
Did the ruse work? Did he come back?
He insisted that I moved in right away.
So it worked?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't she seem so happy? Oh, sorry. My video? Sorry. Let me raise it up. That little look of like, well, it worked. Yeah, he called me immediately. I said I was dying of cancer, and yeah, he called me right up. Plan worked. Success, eh? That's a vibe I get from her.
The lie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure her boyfriend thought it was only a few months of commitment he was making here, but she basically only told her boyfriend, and this entire story just ends right there. I'm just kidding.
So how many people did you tell you had cancer?
Michael and the immediate family only.
And friends.
Yeah.
What are we talking, 5,
And
10,
friends.
15 people?
We had a lot of friends.
Mm-hmm.
So 30?
100.
100 people?
100 plus, yeah.
Is that code for they posted this on Facebook? So Jessica says in order to keep up the lie, she would have her mom drive her to the doctor, and she would just sit in the waiting room and do nothing until she got picked up a few hours later. She also shaved her head, but for some reason only to this length. Then her boyfriend...
Isn't that so weird? You're just like, you commit to the bit, but you only commit like 40%. She's like, yeah, people will buy that I have terminal cancer. I don't want to go full bald though. That's too much. I need to show that I've just trimmed, the chemo just trimmed my hair down.
Then her boyfriend proposed, and they decided to have a wedding ASAP. And this is where things go from bad to gross. The local paper from their town in upstate New York did a story on the couple's upcoming wedding. Why? Well, because these sweet and caring neighbors paid for everything. In the article, it said one of the workers at a wedding dress shop named Carrie Ciasco was upset after hearing Jessica's diagnosis, and she actually started crying in the middle of the store. Carrie paid for her wedding dress and other wedding expenses, but that's just the beginning. Here's all the things that Jessica and her husband got for free. Free hair and makeup for her and 7 of her bridesmaids, a honeymoon in Aruba, including a flight and spending money, and Carrie even lent her clothes to wear for the trip. Flowers, photography and videography, and Tammy Purdy, who lost her husband to cancer, left rose petals, a bottle of champagne, and chocolate-covered strawberries inside a comped honeymoon suite that usually goes for $200 a night. Also, their wedding rings. And this part makes me sick. Not with leukemia, but just sick to my stomach. Tom and Kim Kavanaugh's son, Sean, was 10 years old when he was diagnosed with leukemia. Tom and Kim own a jewelry store and decided to donate 2 rings for the couple to pay it forward. And in case you were wondering, Sean did recover, by the way. Here's a clip of her reading her vows. Now remember, she was...
Basically, I don't think it got conveyed totally the way I wanted it to in that one, but like, you know, the people that are giving her this stuff, they usually have a connection to cancer. Like their son had cancer when, you know, that couple, so they gave the wedding rings for free because they're like, oh my God, like, you know, it was a horrible experience for them, so they wanted to pay it forward. And, you know, that's like the kindness of people's hearts, those types of stories. You go, oh my God, like people are good people. There's humanity in the world. That's very nice to give something to a stranger. And then someone like this fakes it all and ruins it. And then, you know, they say humanity restored, you know, faith in humanity restored. It just goes right back to atheism and humanity restored.
Was 100% healthy and knows she's not dying.
As I become your wife, I want you to know the day I'm no longer physically here, I will always kiss you goodnight.
Even during this lovely wedding, you're still lying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I don't know any female in the earth that would be depressed on their wedding day when they were doing that kind of wedding.
Oh, I don't know, someone with terminal cancer, probably.
This is the music I added in.
In hindsight, some of their benefactors say they were a little surprised to see the bride with just months to live partying like there was no tomorrow. Some of Mike's friends had been whispering their doubts.
They would be like, dude, something's not right. And I would flip out on them.
Obviously, this charade has to end at some point, right? This story has a somewhat satisfying ending, but also a confusing one. So after the honeymoon, Jessica's husband said he finally noticed that Jessica wasn't getting sicker, and he called her doctor, but they said they had no record of her.
But not long after their donated honeymoon to Aruba, O'Connell says he too began to have a nagging suspicion that his wife was healthier than she claimed. He pulled out that doctor's letter she had shown him, the one that said she was dying.
Called the doctor and gave them her name and her social security. And they asked for the letter, so I scanned it and emailed it. And they said, what is it?
I don't know the protocol at doctor's offices, but do you get a letter when you're diagnosed? Like, hey guys, here's my proclamation that I have been diagnosed. Just seems like an added effect thing. Like, okay, he won't ask if I give him this letter that says I have what I say.
Yes. And I said, oh boy.
Oh boy, indeed. Her and her hubby got divorced, and she was arrested and actually did spend about 50 days in jail. She pled guilty to scheming to defraud and possession of a forged instrument, whatever that means. She got probation for 5 years and had to pay back nearly $13,000 that she took from nice people.
The public punishment began immediately.
Turns out she's perfectly healthy, and now she's been indicted for duping the community.
Tabloids, television, and internet scorning her as a shameful sicko, a gold-digging bridezilla.
But here's the twist that you may not have seen coming.
The first twist, and then we have another twist, a bonus twist after this twist.
But things are looking up for her now. Her husband Mike has taken her back.
I tried to hate her. It was an act.
You can't help who you love.
So I guess it was happily ever after all. They have 2 kids together now, but I couldn't find out if they got remarried or broke up. And I think they're hiding from social media, which is probably a good thing for all of us. That's all for me. If you want to get more pissed off, check out some of my other videos. Bye.
That still remains. If you want to get more pissed off, check out more of my videos. Okay, so instead of going to therapy, men will just stay with women who fake cancer to get free stuff. Okay. It looks like they did get divorced ultimately. But I just so happened to come across a fucking article that turned out to feature someone that I recognize and that now you will recognize for being here. Okay, here we go. And it's fresh off the press, hot off the press. This is from, where's the date? I don't know. Wait, September 8th. Okay, so not that hot off the press. But from this year. Woman accused of attempted kidnapping in San Antonio was bride who faked cancer in 2010, court records show. So the ex-husband says now he's changed his tune. Now he thinks that, she's not a good person. Quote, I think that she is absolutely evil and she knows exactly what she's doing, Vegas ex-husband told KSAT. So here she is now. Okay. This is crazy. This is just like a random thing. And it does make me feel like, again, like there's something going on. But it says, a woman who was arrested in San Antonio this week for allegedly trying to kidnap a child at a West Side Walmart store is the same woman convicted a decade ago after admitting that she faked a cancer diagnosis to scam people out of thousands of dollars to pay for her dream wedding and honeymoon. Jessica Vega, 35, was arrested in San Antonio on Tuesday. She is currently in the Bexar County Jail as of September 8th at 2 p.m. Vega first made national news in 2012 while she was living in New York. She even gave an interview to 2020 admitting that a friend forged letters from doctors about her supposed cancer treatments. She fooled friends and family, even her fiance, that she had leukemia, and then accepted more than $13,000 in donations that paid for a wedding and a honeymoon in Aruba. She pled guilty after serving several months in an Orange County, New York jail and was sentenced to probation in order to pay restitution. That former fiance, now her ex-husband, contacted KSAT on Tuesday after her arrest to report the correction. Okay, the correction was that she's still in jail, that she was not released. KSAT confirmed through public records that the woman arrested in San Antonio is the same Jessica Vega who became known as the Cancer Bride. She's a really sick, twisted individual. Yeah, no shit. Okay, according to our arrest, and this is what happened. According to an arrest affidavit signed, and okay, once again, this is like so random. This what she is accused of doing here. According to an arrest affidavit signed by, Vega, 35, tried to kidnap a 4-year-old girl while the girl was shopping with her mom on Monday at the Walmart on Pontranco Road. The mom told police that Vega grabbed her shopping cart and started pushing it away with her 4-year-old sitting inside. A store employee intervened, and the mother was able to grab her child from the cart, police say. According to the affidavit, Vega told the woman, quote, "Just because she's yours doesn't mean I can't take her," and then walked out of the store. Vega was identified by a loss prevention officer who recognized Vega from a previous incident at a different Walmart and was taken into custody the next day. I think that she is absolutely okay. O'Connell, who is the father to one of Vega's children, told KSAT that Vega's mother has custody of Vega's kids in New York. So the mother has custody in New York, and said she may have come to San Antonio because she has a friend living there. Vega is charged in the most recent case with attempted kidnapping, a state jail felony, and was booked into the county jail. In her mugshot, Vega's head is lowered and she's looking up at the camera. Her ex-husband is convinced the pose was premeditated. That mugshot is all an act. She knows how to play the game, and that was a direct setup for an insanity plea. Court records show that she has a pretrial hearing set for next month. Wow. Yeah, so she goes to a Walmart in Texas and just takes somebody's kid and tries to run away with it, and then it, meaning the cart and the kid, and then says, just because she's yours doesn't mean I can't take her. Weird. I mean, we already knew that something was wrong based on the wedding plot, but the plot thickens, so we'll have to keep an eye on that case. I'm sure there'll be some jail. I shouldn't say sure. I would suspect that if she even pleads not guilty and goes to court over it, probably will get a little jail time. If not, if she pleads guilty, she might get a little less. But I would still imagine that's sort of like those random crimes usually do end up in jail time, just because that is like a public safety issue. Like if there's a dispute in the home, it's not good either, but it's much more like, well, the victims of that are, known to the offender, potential offender. But when it's like a random person in a Walmart, that's when judges usually go, okay, let's look at this case a little closer, from my experience. So yeah, I wonder if she's going to get remarried or what. Don't know. I don't know what her plans are for the future, but she's got an exciting life, I will say. Okay. And these are the two, these will be quick ones, just to wrap the old ones up, and then we'll talk about a new one who is a sort of famous person, celebrity adjacent person. Okay, here is Jessica. Oh, no, sorry. So if your name's Jessica, I'm sorry. If your name's Jessica, you may have to seek help.
There's Colleen.
And I only say that because this story is about a woman named Jessica. This is Jessica Smith. Okay. So, hold on, let me get it up. So she has gone through the court system and was, I believe she pled well, I shouldn't say that. I don't remember. I don't know if she pled guilty or she has a lawyer for sure. But I think she's still going through her court stuff, perhaps still to this day. But she was an interesting case because she did like a full podcast, like an hour plus podcast with these guys who talk about like the truth and like what the truth is about things, and defended herself to the death of that she was innocent, and that because people had been speculating and saying that she was lying, and she was like, no, I will set the record straight, I am totally sick and here are all the reasons and here's like the proof. And then it turns out no, bullshit, and that she had taken money. Then after she got caught, she's like, I don't even care like what you guys have to say. Like, I'm actually doing great, and you people are horrible for caring about what I'm doing. So this one's from a year ago, March 12th. And she had to pay back about $12,000 of money she stole. There was also like a fitness connection where she had said, and that's sort of like the whole story, is that she had gotten, not the bypass, but she's gotten the one below it, like the one that's a little bit less intense, I guess, the gastric sleeve surgery to lose weight. So she not only lied about that and told a reporter that it was all from bodybuilding, like working out at the gym, then she had lost all this weight. But then if you get the gastric sleeve, apparently you might have to get infusions for iron because you need more iron or something. And it looks like a chemotherapy, and you're on the same floor as the chemotherapy treatments are sometimes in some hospitals. So she took full advantage of that and was taking pictures and like raising money on Facebook and such. So she's obviously got an issue with the truth. So here you go. Play a little bit.
Tonight is a scandalous scheme. She said she had cancer and people opened their wallets.
A woman is accused of faking cancer and using the phony diagnosis to scam people out of thousands of dollars.
Jessica Smith. She's a 32-year-old mom of two, and she made headlines when she was arrested raising $12,000 through GoFundMe and Facebook for what she said was a fight against colon cancer that actually just turned out to be IBS. Oh wait, no, not IBS. Actually just BS. From my research into this...
Please applaud. That was the best joke I've ever written. Best joke I've ever written. Sorry.
Shockingly unself-aware nightmare of a woman.
I would hope that all of you watching this, with literally the mounds of proof I've provided, when I'm vindicated, I expect public apologies, and if you don't, you're an even bigger fool.
To me, it seems obvious that number one, she's a pathological liar, and number two, she's a narcissist.
Whether you think I'm innocent, whether you think I'm guilty, whether you think I'm scum of the earth, if you're one of my family members and you still continue to reach out to me and tell me you love me, adult humans are vile. And I just want you all to know that today for Christmas, I got a notebook.
So this part is like after she got caught, and this is like her response to like people being upset that she defrauded people for saying that she had cancer, which she did not have. This is her response to it.
I had a pen and I hugged my son goodbye at noon to go with his father. And I still feel really, really blessed.
Not only did people call her out on her lies from the beginning, she doubled down several times, including on her own social media and on an hours-long podcast interview, knowing the whole time she was lying.
I'm not tolerating it. I'm over being sad. Now I'm just pissed. And now I'm out to prove all of you wrong, and you're all gonna be made out to look like the fools that you are.
She's the type that is always the victim no matter what, and everyone is always out to get her. The scary thing is, I truly think she believes it.
All I have to say is keep your mouth shut about me, because if you don't, you'll have it coming for you.
There's a lot to unpack here, so let's break down how Jessica Smith got into the Kia's World Cancer Con Hall of Fame.
Currently under construction.
So Jessica Smith launched her GoFundMe page in 2019 after allegedly being diagnosed with colon cancer. It turns out she never had colon cancer. And this wasn't the first time she's claimed to have some pretty serious medical issues.
So let's talk a little bit about your medical history, because you've had
Yeah,
to overcome some bad news, not once, but more than once.
Yes.
So you were before
Yes.
this current diagnosis
Yes.
you were diagnosed and beat a form of cancer, correct?
Yes, I had cervical cancer, which they kind of found when I was pregnant with my son, actually, my 1.5-year-old.
That had to be pretty scary.
Yeah, it was more like overwhelming, or more like, what? Like, you almost are in shock. You're like, what is going on?
Okay, so you get the vibes of this one. So basically, she doubles down. She's taking glamour shots. She's taking glamour shots of her hair falling out. She's like, hey. Like, if this was someone who had an actual diagnosed disorder, it would be like, okay, fine, do whatever you want. But the fact that, like, she also wants to look sexy while faking everything that's going on in this collage is just, it's beyond me. Okay, so she got caught. Okay, here's her infusion picture. This is when she's getting the infusions. And yeah, she goes to defend herself, the apology, she got arrested. Now she's working through the court case system. She changed a little bit. Her hair grew back. Yeah. So basically, update with her is that she looks like she got rid of all her socials from what I can tell, unless she's blocked me like Heidi did at one point, where blocked me on everything, but it looks like she's gone from socials. But the podcast did a follow-up about her. It's like 3 hours long. So, I don't want to watch the whole thing, but let's see, where is it? Hold on. Let me just go to their page. There was a couple response videos to, JBC. Let me see. Okay, since the finale, where she talks about like what's going on and the case against her.
Do and say about me anymore. I genuinely can tell you, it used to get me super upset, and now it gets sent to me and I just laugh. Seriously, you all are pissed if I don't apologize. Then you get pissed when I apologize. Then you got pissed because I couldn't go into specifics into my apology because I have criminal charges. In what universe did you think that I would ever address anything specifically? If you had a good lawyer that was telling you not to address anything specifically, you wouldn't, right? Get over it. I can't. It's exhausting. Y'all are seriously exhausting.
Get over it, guys. I faked cancer and stole money. Get over it. God, what, you're so obsessed with me. That's the vibe I'm getting.
Pitiful. I'm done after today. I'm done addressing it. I'm done giving any kind of care in the world to it. I have better things to do, more productive things to do than others. Yeah, y'all are just pitiful. I do, however, think it's funny.
We're all pitiful, but then she's going to make 25 stories about it, about how bad we are and how much other things she has to do with her time.
That I've received a lot of messages about people who did interviews that said that their interview, when they were initially asked, said it was going to be about something else, and then it was turned around behind their backs. And I have all those messages, and when the time comes, I will be posting them. So
people who are in trouble always say this. They're always like, when the time comes, you will all see. It's like, the time has come, baby, and I have seen nothing but you looking very guilty. So let me know. The time would be now to release anything that would paint you in a better light, and I don't think you have it.
Keep that in the back of your mind, everyone. The fact that people said certain things, like that I commented on my weight, or the fact that I had makeup on, makes it all about me. Yeah, you dumbasses, because I was talking about me, and the weight loss was part of it, and me having and using makeup as a hobby is now part of it. Sorry, don't know what to tell you. You're like pulling and really reaching for stuff, and it just looks sadder and sadder and sadder. So,
Yeah, it's really all of us.
I wish you all the best of love and luck in life.
Thank you.
And yeah, I think some of you all need to see my doctor because you're
I really did like that that insult. Some of y'all need to see my doctor. I don't know why that just got me. That one sounds very similar to
I'm going to send you so much love and so much light and so much good energy today because I feel like you need it.
Y'all need to see my doctor, I'm telling you. So she's working through her custody. But the thing is that's sort of surprising that she's out on bail, or at least during this, it seems, and she's got custody of her kids, so it seems like, she's kind of gonna get away with it. She had to pay back, and maybe there was an update. I think she had to pay back her what she took from Facebook and from GoFundMe. And that was it. I think there were some mental health requirements that she had to complete, but basically, I don't think there was any jail time other than the original arrest. Like, I don't think there was much that happened. So yeah, scam's gonna scam. Can't wait to see her again at a Walmart. Taking someone's kid. I don't know. Just kidding. But yeah, that's what she's up to. So, maybe we'll invite her on the show too. Just go real unhinged around here. Okay. And then just a really quick, before we go on to our new member of the Hall of Fame, Dawn Lineberger. Okay. She's another one that was arrested, and I think she pled guilty. So she's the one who...
She has a bald head, which
I think committed to the bit, as they say, committed to the bit the best out of all these people. Someone, because she was already arrested, I covered the story, but I even say in the video, I'm like, if this was not, exposed in the court system, there's no way I would have made a video. I was convinced. If you look at, she posted so much that it was almost impossible. Here's a tip if you want to scam people. Post so much that it's almost impossible to go through all the videos and take the time to fact check everything you say, because the sheer number of videos she had on her TikTok account was astronomical and went back like years of time. So I went through as much as I could and saw after the fact that it was, there were some red flags, but she committed physically to looking ill that I would have believed it. So here's just, a little snippet.
Huntsville police now say a woman faked a cancer diagnosis, then scammed people out of thousands of dollars. They say she used social media to convince people of her condition.
Cancer's not fair. My friends, I may be dying.
Some of the accusations against Dawn Lineberger date all the way back to 20 years ago.
I know I look pretty rough right now. Didn't I realize that y'all appreciate...
Like, Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Like, that could be eyeshadow, but like, I was not thinking in my head, and I'm pretty skeptical of everyone, too much so. And I was like, oh my God, this woman's sick. There's no way.
Appreciate my transparency.
To my subscribers, welcome back to my channel. And if it's cancer, she has a bald head, which she says is from chemo treatments.
Yesterday, whenever I was on my live, I talked about the hat that I wear to chemo, so I figured I'd share it with you. It's this. I do wear it. My short cat.
She never went to chemo, as far as I know. So yeah, so that's that. And she did plead guilty, so she got arrested. She has 2 kids as well. They're the true victims of this whole thing. Always. But she pled guilty, and So, okay, she's 41, which I actually think is younger than I thought she was. She was released after agreeing to a plea deal on her theft by deception charge. So that seems to be the charge that sticks if you fake an illness online and get caught. It's actually the plea deal she originally turned down just a few weeks ago, and this was back in March of 2022. So she turned down the original plea deal a few weeks ago, but after sitting behind bars for 11 months, she had a change of heart. She will now be on probation for 36 months and will start paying back the thousands she stole from people who wanted to support her fake fight with cancer. Okay. And this is what the father of the kid said, quote, they were made to believe that their mother was dying of stage 4 breast cancer and that she wasn't going to live to see their next birthday, said Lineberger's ex-husband. The father, who didn't want us to show his face or use his name, says his ex-wife Dawn fooled him and everyone else into thinking she was dying. She was able to collect around $25,000 in donations from social media and online payment methods. She was even given a place to live, rent-free from Lincoln Church of Christ. She was caught and charged with theft by deception and was booked into the Madison County Jail. So 11 months later, she sat in jail before trial, and then she accepted a plea deal where she got the probation and time served, I'm assuming. And Lineberger has joint custody of her 2 sons with her ex-husband. The boys are currently with him in another state. She'll need permission to leave Alabama. Okay, and then it says Gordon, I guess that's her lawyer, Golden, tells me right now Lineberger is having to sort out where she's living and finding a job so she can start paying back her restitution. Well, get back on TikTok, baby. And on her TikTok, which was open the whole time and public while she was sitting behind bars, is now private. So I missed the opportunity to follow her. Dang. But she had a lot of videos, man. And she had 10,000 followers. So, I mean, again, and she had a lot of people that were in, I don't know, not even nonprofit, but the helping others space, I guess, on TikTok. Hey guys, share this to spread kindness and spread the message about this thing. There's a group of people who do that on TikTok, multiple groups, I'm sure, but they were big supporters of her and were shocked when they found out that she was lying, because again, she looked like she had it, I think. Okay, so now to the new person. Are you familiar with Grey's Anatomy? Are you? Because there's a woman who is very familiar with that show. So much so that she's a writer for Grey's Anatomy, weirdly enough. And guess what? Apparently, she is a scheming scammer liar about having illnesses and other tragic things that have happened in her life. So let's read the big article. Okay, this one is, oh wait. And, here it is, the Vanity Fair. This is the expose one. But she also, when I was looking her up, this is Elizabeth Finch, okay? Yes, the writer. She had written a think piece or a column for the Hollywood Reporter, which has now been pulled down because of these accusations of her being untruthful. But she called out the Vampire Diaries for harassment on set, which apparently may or may not have happened. Now everything's sort of thrown into question. So we'll go through this article. So, Scene Stealer: The True Lies of Elizabeth Finch, Part 1. Now, why is this so interesting to me? I just think people who have the balls to lie on a large scale to everyone and go so far as to commit to it over a long period of time, I don't know. There's something so intriguing about it. There's something I just cannot grasp. How do you have the balls? I can't even I get so nervous with any sort of deception. I'm like, I'd rather just, not get anything. I'd just rather live in squalor than be caught in a lie. So it's interesting when someone can pull it off. Even Elizabeth Holmes is interesting to me. And any of these fake people online, or, you know, in the motivational speaking space, or the coaches, and they're all full of shit. It's like, wow, I really need to like explore this more. So anyways, for years, a Grey's Anatomy writer told her personal traumas in online essays and wove those details into the show's plot, until a surprising email to Shondaland accused her of making it all up. Is that correct? Shondaland? And I believe this is her right here. In February 2014, television writer Elizabeth Finch wrote about her diagnosis on chondrosarcoma. I never heard of that. Oh, okay. Makes sense. A rare and usually fatal form of bone cancer, in an Elle magazine article that seemed tailor-made for TV. I also wonder what goes into the selection of what type of cancer you're going to choose to fake. Like, what is the thought process? Like, is there like a pros and cons list? Is there like a list of different, you know, possibilities? And then like you have general interest in that cancer or something. Do you like it rare, or is it better to be more general? Probably more rare, because then you can't, the other people, like if you say, which is so surprising that Jessica said that she had breast cancer. Oh, right. Breast cancer? No, colon cancer. Who had breast cancer? Dawn. Because a lot of people have experienced breast cancer in some way, so maybe they'd have more knowledge about the subject. So maybe picking a rare one is more like beneficial in that way. Interesting. Anyways. Okay. Not only did the writer have a harrowing personal story, currency in Hollywood, her dialogue had a dramatic punch. The doctor said, "There's something we need to discuss. Chondrosarcoma, I guess. I've never seen anything like this, especially in someone your age. Nothing about this is going to be easy." Finch, okay, I'm going to zoom in because I'm blind. I'm really blind, guys. Send me money. Finch was a feisty woman in a man's world, and she channeled the doctored nicknaming conventions of a certain hit medical TV show. Quote, "When I defied Dr. Cryptic's orders to take an indefinite leave of absence for work, he thought chemo deserved my sole attention. He doubted my commitment to getting well. And when it came to work, she was a writer on the Vampire Diaries. She was unstoppable. Quote, I watched the producers cut under a fog of Demerol, punched up dialogues about vampire werewolf hybrids with a shunt in my spine. Yes, I was down 17 pounds, bald, vomiting relentlessly, but I was still living alone, still stubborn as hell. Wow. Wonderful. The thing with this too, and this is where toxic positivity comes into the mix, and something I've talked about before in videos, people who don't have the inclination to make up a fake disease and disorder and can't even fathom that someone would do this, you know, seeing a piece of content like this, so unrelated to the lie, but someone just coming across a piece of content like this, not knowing it's a lie, will probably feel, oh my God, this woman who has terminal bone cancer is showing up to work, kicking ass in corporate America and the entertainment industry. She is, you know, living her dreams and not giving up. And she would probably be a guest on like the Rise Together podcast, right? Like, oh my God, you're so amazing. Like the success story that's also a tragedy, right? And we all go, oh my God, I bitched and moaned that I had a cold and took a day off from work. I'm a horrible, horrible person. And I think that stuff is also interesting to me because it's like, this lady's full of shit. And we all read the headline and go, oh, so much better than me. Like the headline meaning like, you know, before the fakeness comes out, you just think like, oh, wow, what a trooper. What a like, you know, warrior, like I said. And it's like not even true. So it's affecting not only her and her family, but people who come across this stuff and their self-esteem is, you know, affected by it. Shortly after the article's publication, a development executive at Shondaland, the production company of writer-producer powerhouse Shonda Rhimes, presented the writer to the showrunners of Grey's Anatomy, then in its 10th season, as a potential hire. Finch soon met with Rhimes herself. Everyone involved had been impressed with the Elle article. At the end of the meeting, Rhimes offered the young woman her dream job. Less than 5 years later, a version of Finch's cancer story was beamed around the world to millions of Grey's Anatomy viewers. Anybody Have a Map is one of 13 episodes that Finch wrote and one of 172 that she produced. The setting is an upscale bar. Dr. Tom Korakick, the Cocksure, I don't know what that word is, star surgeon played by Greg German, has just learned the likely diagnosis of his friend and fellow surgeon Catherine Avery, played by the fabulous Debbie Allen, Finch's avatar. Chondro is a beast, he tells her, referring to chondrosarcoma. We know it's deadly serious because he's dropped his jocular shtick. Doesn't respond to chemo. So if you're lucky, and it's a big if, we may be able to cut it out without making me a quadriplegic, Catherine interrupts, which means I'll never operate again. Oh my God, the drama. The drama. The pressure is on, Tom. Yes, he's the best there is. But as he later confides to Dr. Meredith Grey out on the street corner, I have no idea how to remove it without killing or paralyzing her. So the stakes are high, everybody. The stakes are high. Elizabeth as Debbie as Catherine isn't having it. She tells them to get their asses in gear to save her and delivers a speech about her tenacity. Oh my God. Is this... Never mind. I was going to say, this is, Rachel Hollis has said in the last year or so that she wrote a screenplay. I can imagine this is like what it's about. Like this is this type of story, like inspirational cancer diagnosis, get everyone motivated to heal you in the hospital would be the plot. Okay. Quote, I survived losing my mother before I could even get to know her, and my father who dropped dead on his way to church when I was 18 years old. I raised my sister alone, no help, no money. I have survived racism, sexism, every ism designed to make me feel small and make me less. If I can do all of that, if I can survive all of that, then I just might survive this too. But I can't do this on my own. So I need you to figure it out fast. Excuse me, I have to go call my husband. Oh my God. That's okay, not to connect the dots because I have to connect the dots to Rachel at all times.
Rach.
But that sounds like that was written by Rachel Hollis. Okay, moments later, there's a wrap-up kernel of wisdom spoken in voiceover by her husband, Dr. Weber, played by James Pickens Jr. The problem with all the how-to, step-by-step books, they don't take into account the exceptions to the rules. They never leave room for the outliers, the geniuses, the miracles. Oh, yes, they do. That is all they focus on, in my opinion. Everyone in Finch's world, as they call her, believed she was that miracle. Not only was chondrosarcoma unheard of in someone her age, but she was incredibly living with it since 2012. So she's got a 10-year grift going. That's pretty impressive. In fact, she was the only one in her clinical trial who survived. She showed up so bravely to the Grey's Anatomy writer's room, a scarf over her bald head, and she so inspired everyone around her that they did whatever they could to support. Her bosses gave her all the time off she needed to participate in her maintenance chemo and clinical trials at the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota. Friends there drove her to and from appointments. When cancer storylines came up on the show, Finch led the way. She was the expert. And she even chronicled her experience with they're going to make me read this word so many times. Just call it chondrosarcoma on the side. In Elle and The Hollywood Reporter and on Shondaland.com to promote her episodes. She wasn't one to draw attention to herself. Okay, that monologue sounds different. She wasn't one to draw attention to herself. No, cancer, alas, had become her brand. Oh boy, that's horrible. Other terrible things seemed to befall Finch, some of which she chronicled for the world, some of which she talked about in select company. Against all medical odds, due to her cancer treatments, she became pregnant. Oh my God. She really is the only, is she the only miracle? Okay. She faced the awful dilemma of aborting the fetus. Oh my God. I didn't read this before, obviously. She faced the awful dilemma of aborting the fetus or dying if she wanted to carry it because she'd have to cease treatment. Oh my God. She was lying about that. Oh, Jesus. Oh my God. Whew. Okay. This is getting dark, everybody. Sorry. Okay, so she claimed she had to abort the fetus or she would die because she'd have to cease treatment. So she chose, and then in reality, she chose to have an abortion, which is nothing wrong with that, but that is a different story than what she's telling people. Oh my God. There was the kidney transplant she needed due to something cancer related. A dear friend was killed in the Tree of Life synagogue massacre in Pittsburgh, where Finch went to college, and she helped to clean the friend's remains off the floor. The FBI allowed it. They love why do they love the FBI? Why do they love the FBI so much? Everyone that's scheming and scamming loves to bring up the FBI. Why not CIA? I guess FBI is more like local, national. Okay. Anyways. Okay, so she cleaned her friend's remains off the floor of the Tree of Life synagogue. Okay, that sounds real. Her brother Finch was realizing in midlife, had abused her many years ago. Then he took his own life. Well, not quite. He was so vindictive that he was intentionally unsuccessful, and Finchy was the one who had to pull the plug. She was the job of the Disney lot. She was the job of the Disney lot? I don't know what that means. But oh my God, how dramatic is that too? Then in February of this year, so I feel like these people too, like you're getting away with like a pretty big scheme here with the cancer, but that's not enough. You gotta one up your lies until it's like so unbelievable. You're just begging to get caught. What is that about too? I'm very curious about that as well. Then in February of this year, just as Rhimes was dropping the splashy first release she created under her Netflix deal, Inventing Anna, which we've talked about on Cringefluencers, con artist Anna Delvey, she received an email on her private account. It was from an unlikely sender, Jennifer Beyer, a struggling mother of 5 from Kansas and a registered nurse who had married Finch in 2020, though they were now estranged. And its message was not just unlikely, but unthinkable. Finch, Beyer wrote, had been telling stories and it was time to stop believing her. Okay, Rhimes knew of Beyer. She had even advised Finch about matters concerning the couple's future together. And wait, I'm confused. Wait, what the fuck? Okay, it was actually Jennifer Beyer, a struggling mother of 5 from Kansas and a registered nurse who had married Finch in 2020. Okay. And now estranged. And its message was not, okay, so she got married to the scammer. Okay. Rhimes knew of Beyer. She had even advised Finch about matters concerning the couple's future together and Beyer's kids. But this time, Rhimes did not respond and did not respond. If what Beyer was saying was true, Rhimes and all of Shondaland had been Delvied, as had Finch's friends and family members, only she wasn't stealing people's money. She was taking their empathy and tears, as well as other people's personal traumas, which she would call her own. In response to detailed questions for Finch regarding information from multiple sources, her attorney Andrew Bretler contended that not all of Beyer's claims were true and asserted that Beyer was neither reliable nor unbiased because the two women are in the midst of a highly contentious divorce. Okay. That was weird. Finch and Finchy, this is kind of a confusing article. People close to Finch from the distant, okay, and I can't read either. People close to Finch from the distinct compartments of her life have been grappling with the idea that the woman they loved most may not exist. Those who've known Finch the longest have looked back at her young life for clues. At least from the outside, Finch's early life seems fairly normal. She grew up in a middle-class Jewish family in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. She was bat mitzvahed, went to Jewish summer camp, attended Cherry Hill East High School. Thanks, Rebecca. Woo! Tony. Rebecca says, Job and Lot are biblical references. I don't even remember that. I don't even remember that from this article. I don't know what that is. I only know
my guardian angels, my spirit guides.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay. Cults.
Just kidding. But also,
what happened to dinosaurs?
Just kidding. And since this is Rebecca Romana's super chat, this is for you and only you.
You are going to marry Dave Hollis.
Thanks, Rebecca. Okay. It had a strong theater department, and she wrote plays that people appreciated. She was sharp and funny and spunky. She made lasting friendships with smart, warm people. She had an older brother, Eric. Her mother, Joan, was a special education teacher. Her father, Robert, had a less solid career, according to a source close to the family, but she was loved. In her early adulthood, Finch was surrounded by cancer, for real. While in college at Carnegie Mellon, her mother was diagnosed with cancer. She learned all about what went into it. 5 years into her mother's diagnosis, as Finch later wrote, our family were all experts in pharmacology, wig design, hip hospital lingo, and fashioning, oh my God, surreptitious? I have no idea. Why am I so dumb? Means of throwing up in public places. Surreptitious means of throwing up in public places. Her mother survived. After a stint at USC Film School, Finch worked as an assistant to television writer Rick Cleveland. When Cleveland's mother got sick with stage 4 lung cancer, she went out of her way to do research for him. Then when Cleveland's close friend's wife got breast cancer, she was helpful to him and his family. Mensch is the word I used to describe her, wrote Cleveland in an email, bristling at the suggestion that she could have been untruthful. He introduced her to Alan Ball, creator of True Blood, and she got her first job as a junior TV writer. During that period, Finch wrote about cancer publicly for the first time for a personal essay site called Fresh Yarn. After it was clear her mother would survive, she herself took the test for the BRCA gene mutation. She wrote, and it came back positive. Quote, the fat doctor, I could tell, wanted me to cry, but I didn't. Okay. The line was typical of what would become a hallmark of her style. Dr. Man dumb, me brave. Oh, that's very typical for people who are faking, or I think are faking, allegedly. They hate doctors. They don't believe them ever when they say anything. But they know a lot about their doctor and about doctors in general, but they don't agree ever. The piece is bookended by a dramatic cliffhanger when Finch, rattled by the thought of getting cancer, gets into a car crash. Quote, Officer Frank tells me I'm lucky I'm not dead. As part of IAMA, a theater group in LA, she wrote another personal trauma into a play, Return to Sender, about an ex-military guy who suffers from PTSD and stalks his girlfriend. She told a friend it was based on herself and an ex-boyfriend. She's had every trauma. In 2012, she landed a writing job on The Vampire Diaries, earning the joke nickname Vampire Girl. According to a writer on the show, she was meek in the room, barely said a word. This was a rough atmosphere, with writers routinely fearing that they'd end up on the chopping block. Shortly thereafter is when Finch herself got cancer, or so she claimed. Not breast or ovarian, but this rare and more fatal bone cancer, which was discovered after alleged knee replacement surgery. The tumor in her spine had grown so big that surgery risked paralysis, she wrote, so it required chemotherapy right away. Her closest relative at the time was an older cousin in New Jersey who considered Finch a younger sister. It was devastating, the cousin recalls, learning the diagnosis. As chemotherapy got underway, Finch would occasionally visit from Los Angeles. Her head was bald, there was a bandage over the place where a chemo port would go, and she looked sick. The cousin's daughter, then 14, idolized Finch, her cool relative with the Hollywood job who made her awesome mixtapes. She recalls the night they went up to her bedroom and Finch told her that there was a good possibility of her dying and how special she was to her. We lay on the bed and cried together, she says. Finch's mother, Joan, was desperate to come to Los Angeles to help care for her, but Finch kept her parents away, which crushed them, according to a source close to the family. When people wondered why she rejected their care, she explained that they were overbearing and impossible to be around. Over the years, her brother Eric, a doctor in Florida, talked about wanting to speak with her doctors about her treatment, says the source, but she wouldn't let him. In spite of her, so her brother's a doctor? Okay, that's interesting. In spite of her illness, Finch valiantly flew in for big events back east, her mother's 60th birthday, graduations, but she'd only stay for a few hours before having to fly off to somewhere important. We'd take any time we could get with her, says her cousin. It was like, oh my God, she's so fabulous. People close to her chalked it up to Finch's independence. Finch, as recounted in the first article for Elle, a connection she made through her close friend Mickey Rapkin, then a writer there, was instilled to treat adversity with quiet dignity. They don't need to name drop these people so much. I guess because it's Vanity Fair. They're like trying to like point out different celebrities. I'm like, I don't care who the writer of whatever plays, like, doesn't Mickey Rapkin like has anything to do with the story, but okay, maybe it does. I don't know. Okay, Finch had told friends that there were 2 shows she was dying to work for. Get it? Okay, let's see. Grey's Anatomy and Parenthood. Lo and behold, when she landed the job at Grey's Anatomy, a dream came true. There was an obstacle along the way. According to sources at the show, a few seasons into Finch's stint, writer Krista Vernoff took over as showrunner and did a blind read of writers' work to see whose work matched her own vision. Finch's didn't make the cut, and she was let go when the show got restaffed. But Finch was rescued when someone at Shondaland resurfaced the old Elle article for Vernoff and asked her to reconsider. The woman literally lives for her work. She was promptly rehired. Damn. That's a good method. No, it's horrible. Don't do this. But tell your boss, this is my dream job and I'm terminally ill. You can't fire me. You'll look like a big asshole and then just work there for 100 years. It could happen anytime. It could happen anytime. I'm just joking. Okay, like most writers' rooms, the Grey's Anatomy room, which consisted of roughly 17 people, was an intimate, sacred space for people to share all kinds of stories and confessions. For 10 hours a day, the group would churn over past humiliations, scandals that had consumed friends, dark family secrets. They'd mix and match, map them onto the the arcs of the show's many characters. Grey's was diverse before its time and suffused with a kind of empathy that made Finch the only person in the writer's room who identified as a person with a disability. Oh my God. Oh my Lord. Jeez. This gets worse and worse. Like, if you did not hate this person already, like, this article makes you just, like, every line is like, oh, more hatred. Oh, more hatred. Okay. So Finch is the only person who identified as a person with a disability. Perfect fit. Unlike at the Vampire Diaries, here she had a presence. She excelled in the area of personal confession, laying her pain bare, often with an appealing, familiar humor. Other times, she'd laugh at something tragic, laugh so hard until she cried. People figured it was a coping mechanism. She carried her heart and her cancer on her sleeve. She was visibly sick and getting sicker. In addition to the bald head and scarves, she wore a bandage over a presumed port on her upper chest area. You could see it behind her baggy tank top and cardigan. Her skin had a yellowish-greenish hue. How did she pull that off? Oh my God. Which she covered with badly blended cover-up. She could sometimes be heard retching in the bathroom, at which point the producers would insist, "Please go home." No, came the valiant reply. "I really want to be here. Just let me do an hour more." Oh, Lord. Cancer afforded her certain privileges. She had an extra comfortable chair. From there, she tactily claimed extra talking rights. The writer's room was like one Jewish nosh table on a Sunday morning. The writer's room was like one Jewish nosh table on a Sunday morning, as one writer describes it, with everyone talking over each other. But when Finch had the floor, she was not to be interrupted, and took whatever time she needed drawing out her stories. Anyone else could lose their job for being such a room hog. Quote, "We all tolerated it because we thought she might be dying. These might be her final words," said the writer. I mean, this plan does seem airtight to get all the things you would want in a workplace. Co-workers recall that her frequent bouts of illness and mental stress coincided with deadlines for her episodes. In these instances, she'd often have to pull in a senior writer to pick up the slack. She showed little interest in returning the favor for other people's episodes. Lest anyone forget that cancer was an ongoing battle, she took frequent week-long leaves to do what she claimed were clinical trials. She corralled a group of loving friends to help her. She had rented a condo near the Mayo Clinic from her good friend Nick, whose family, sources say, treated her like a surrogate daughter. Nick would drive her to appointments. She'd get out of the car, enter the building, and then he'd drive off. She might snap a picture of the Mayo Clinic exterior for Instagram with a tag like, "They're giants in the sky." What? Another friend. Thank you, King Intern. Thank you. King Intern says, "Sometimes I wish I didn't have a conscience so I could do stuff like this with no regret or anxiety." Not really. I understand what you mean 100%. And I know that sounds like I'm insane as well. But yeah, it does take so much so much balls and so many, I don't know, so what's the word? So much something to pull this off and to continue doing it. But look at all the respect that she gets. Like, this is like the basic decency that everyone wants, where it's like you're respected in your workplace, you're not getting fired, you get certain times off, like you have rights. I mean, not to say like it's all justified. Yeah, this is a great way to handle this, but it's almost like she's decided her wants and needs are above everyone else's, and she's going to do whatever she can do to get it. And I sometimes wish I just had like 1% of that brashness, but yeah, not worth it ultimately, obviously. So for that, I say
I peed my pants.
I peed my pants. Aw.
My pubic hair.
That's for you, King Intern. My pubic hair. Thank you. Okay, so let's see. Another friend helped organize care packages. She and a third friend, Molly, became the point people who updated friends and family with information. One day when Nick was traveling for work and unable to take her to this clinic, Finch asked her cousin in New Jersey to step in. I couldn't go, recalls the cousin. I was devastated that I couldn't be there for her. But Finch didn't want anyone to get too close. When friends asked if she wanted company during her treatments, she declined. Of course not, because she's not actually getting them. She didn't want anyone she loved to be connected to her cancer memory, she explained. The friends she collected were empaths. Many of them had been touched by cancer themselves. Yeah, I'm sure that was her way of manipulating everyone and having them not want to question anything, because how could you question it if you've been touched by cancer, which a lot of people have. You know, it makes you look like a total jerk to like suggest anyone would want to go through something like that or pretend to. Okay, the disease created other health complications. In 2017, she needed a kidney transplant. She posted on Facebook 2 hospital hangouts, nearly 2 weeks of hell, but finally 1 happy, healthy kidney. Thanks for all the heart. According to a staffer, Finch said that Anna Paquin was to thank. Paquin and Finch had become friends for real on True Blood. Paquin did not comment to Vanity Fair. So did Anna Paquin give her kidney to her or what? I'm confused. Normal life couldn't roll on for too long before Finch's illnesses reared its head. There were sudden bouts of dangerous overheating or weakness at inopportune moments, like at her relative's college graduation ceremony or on a trip to Jerusalem, also with this family member, when they were swarmed with cyclists in the middle of a bike race. People would flock to her side to attend to her. On the trip back to Israel, she threw a fit when she was made to check her bags because she said her cancer meds were inside. She tweeted later, @Delta, "You cannot insist a cancer patient check meds, lose the bag, and insist nothing can be done." Oh my gosh. At her 40th birthday in March 2018, so this is 6 years after her original diagnosis, a pajama party with roughly 100 guests. What? Okay. Weird birthday. A pajama party with roughly 100 guests held at an event space in downtown LA. Cancer was the top of conversation. Over cake, Finch addressed the crowd, including Debbie Allen. I don't know who that is. Everyone here in the room is someone I know and love, and over the last very bizarre 7 years has been instrumental in helping me get to 40, including they wish not to be identified personally. But there are 2 doctors from Mayo Clinic who flew all the way from Minnesota. I promised that I would not show them, but I wanted them to be surrounded by people I love so fiercely, who love me so fiercely. It was one of the few occasions that people from her various pods in life interacted with one another. Finch first wrote, oh my God, chondrosarcoma into Grey's Anatomy in 2016 when a sassy know-it-all teenage girl amputee announces to 2 male doctors, quote, "Turns out I am one in like a bajillion kids to get chondrosarcoma. We have our work cut out for us, gentlemen." Gradually, Finch's cancer metastasized, taking over the communal creative process in the room. When cancer stories were brought up as potential storylines, Finch seized the territory. Say coworkers. There were 2 other survivors in the room, but she was the one living with cancer now. Oh my God, she's the most special. She's the only cancer patient. Once, when a writer pushed back on an emotional direction Finch wanted to take a story, she lashed out. "This is how it feels, and none of you can understand," and stormed out of the room. Eventually, one of the survivors didn't even bother chiming in on cancer-related stories. In 2018 came the Debbie Allen chondrosarcoma storyline. Finch claimed in one of her articles that she resisted sharing her personal story. Quote, "I wanted to say no, a big, fat, super emphatic, though ever polite, no. But the loving insistence from her coworkers broke down her walls. I said yes because Shonda once wrote me an email where she told me, love yourself more. And when Shonda says something like that, you listen." Oh my gosh. This might be one of my, I'm going to investigate this even further, because this is the first time I wanted to like react live to it. Like I've heard the story just generally, and I was like, okay, let's explore it together to see if there's anything here. There is so much here, and I hate it, but I'm interested. I'm intrigued. Okay. According to someone in the room, the conversation actually went more like this. Finch, "It would be so amazing to give Catherine my cancer, but maybe I shouldn't write it. It might be too triggering. Okay, we'll protect you. Someone else can do it. No, I can do it." What a brave soldier. Indeed, Finch needed little arm twisting to write about her. Okay. Indeed, Finch needed little arm twisting to write about her cancer and 8 cancer-themed articles, including, quote, "I confronted the doctor who missed my cancer," featuring the clueless Dr. Perfect, who cocks his head to the side and says, "You seem angry." There was also, quote, "deciding to have an abortion while getting chemo." Oh my God. That's the worst one to me. That is the worst one. I don't know why that one triggers me so much, but it's like, I can't get over it. Quote, "redefining brave and all my eggs in one basket" about her cancer and fertility choices. The latter she wrote from a perch at Hedgebrook, the prestigious and highly competitive writers' retreat for female writers trying to bring about positive change in the world. She used her illness as the basis for her application. Okay, that sounds about right. Chels Marie, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Chels Marie picked a character looking really impressed, saying, "Whoa." Yeah, I agree.
"You are not required to get the flu this year."
You are not required to get chondrosarcoma, okay?
"I am not a medical authority, but."
You are required to get I'm just kidding. This one is for you, Chels Marie.
Your girl is a bougie bitch.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. Likewise, cancer meant opportunities to pick fights online, with tweets now deleted like, "Talk to me when you've screamed yourself to sleep at night from the pain." Can you imagine? Good night. Okay. "And I'll argue about the merits of legalizing marijuana every damn where. And I've officially run out of ways to politely say this. Stop tweeting me miracle cancer cures. It's exhausting and insulting and presumptuous as fuck." Well, I agree. You shouldn't do that to anybody. But she doesn't actually have it, so you can just send them to her. For Finch, as for many people, the Trump years were a time of greater outspokenness. Days after his victory in 2016, an unknown person allegedly left an ugly anti-Semitic tract outside her door. Only her, right? Only her. She posted the offensive picture along with, quote, "Yes, I am the only Jewish person in my building located in Santa Monica. Yes, I am the only one who received this on my doorstep." She is the only Jewish person. Wow. In March 2018, in the heat of Me Too, she wrote in The Hollywood Reporter about the alleged harassment she endured years prior by a director on the set of another show, which included misogynistic verbal abuse and unwanted touching. When Brett Kavanaugh was nominated to the Supreme Court, she repurposed her cancer abortion story for a PSA-style video, reminding people that her ability to have an abortion saved her life. Oh my God, she's ruining the cause. By then, her hair had grown out, but she told viewers, "I may never be cancer-free." On the day Christine Blasey Ford testified, Finch couldn't not offer words on Facebook. Men, find a way today to tell the women in your life that you believe them. Don't assume they know. Not today. Believe survivors. See, that also ruins the message too. Believe all women only works when women tell the truth. When something like this happens and then you go look at their Twitter and it's like, believe all women. And it's like, oh God, here we go. Everything's ruined. Okay. Then in late October 2018, a national tragedy hit when 11 people were shot and killed at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, the city where Finch went to college. The next day, she began telling people that a friend of hers she'd met while in college had been one of the victims. She mustered up her fury. "Please do not send me photos of the man who murdered my friend," she tweeted at a hapless account. Gray's writers had to be careful with their language. If someone mentioned guns in the room or complained that their pitch had been shot down, she dramatically winced, according to one colleague. Oh my God, she's insufferable. I feel like, I don't know. I feel, not that I've had coworkers like this. Obviously, this is an extreme case. But I feel like people like this are like people who everything is about them at all times. You know, it is so interesting to see it from a perspective, like looking back in hindsight and going, oh, I was justified or I was validated for like being annoyed, because all the writers in the room probably have notes of like complaints about her, but kept it internal because they're like, I can't say anything to this lady because she's got like cancer and no one else is saying anything. But they probably feel so good being able to get this off their chest. Within a few months, the narrative had new details. She had helped clean up the remains of her friend's body from the synagogue floor. It was all in step with the Jewish tradition, she explained, which said Jews must be buried within 24 hours with all their body parts. Subsequent shootings brought the trauma right back up. In March 2019, shortly after the mosque shootings in New Zealand, she tweeted, quote, "I spent sunup to sundown cleaning up what was left of my friend after the Pittsburgh synagogue shooting. And, quote, as someone who stood amidst the Pittsburgh synagogue carnage, I'll just say, my heart is broken. My brain is broken. I have no words for my outrage." So she saw a tragedy and she's like, how can I make it about myself? Okay, we're almost done. Eventually, Catherine Avery's cancer plot would play itself out. Just like the amazing Finchy, the amazing Catherine would live with cancer while maintaining her rock star career. But another character became interesting to her, a troubled young surgeon named Joe Wilson, and she proposed a storyline. After meeting a patient who's a rape victim, Joe starts confronting her own past as an abused wife and learns that she's a product of rape. A pitch, Finch said, that was based on a friend. According to a staffer, writing that first episode was stress-inducing for Finch. She turned to the others in the room to help write it, although hers was the only name credited. Still, she claimed the rest of Joe's storyline for the season. Discussions were had in the room about Joe needing to check herself into a mental health facility to deal with her trauma. Now Finch just needed the rest. Finch told her employer that she was suffering from PTSD related to Pittsburgh and needed 6 weeks off. She checked herself into a mental health clinic in Arizona. She was no longer wearing a bandage. The name she used was Joe. Huh. Okay. Interesting. That was only part one. Okay. Oh, here she is. Okay, I don't want to read the whole second part of this because it's really freaking long, but I want to watch a video of this, and then we can call it a day. That is pretty crazy, though. This is only 13 minutes. We don't have to watch the whole thing necessarily, but this is one of my faves. I haven't watched him in a little bit, but he does a little analysis. Dr. Todd Grande. So this will give us a nice little wrap up.
Can I analyze the case of Elizabeth Finch? Just a reminder, I'm not diagnosing anybody in this video, only speculating about what could be happening in a situation like this. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and consider supporting me on Patreon. I will put the link to Patreon in the description for this video. First, I'll look at the background of this case, then I'll offer my analysis. Elizabeth Finch grew up in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. In high school, she wrote plays for the theater department. She was considered intelligent, witty, humorous, and friendly. She graduated from high school and enrolled at Carnegie Mellon. While Elizabeth was in college, her mother was diagnosed with cancer. Her mother ultimately survived after being treated over the course of several years. After briefly attending film school in California, Elizabeth worked as an assistant television writer At one point, she wrote a personal essay about her mother having cancer. Elizabeth said that she took a test for a gene mutation tied to cancer, and it came back positive. So Elizabeth was saying that she had DNA that could lead to cancer. She also wrote an essay about a stalker who was a former member of the military and had PTSD. She told a friend that the characters in this essay were based on herself and her ex-boyfriend. In 2012, she was given a writing job on the TV series The Vampire Diaries. Working as a writer on the show was challenging.
She looks different in every photo. I wouldn't be able to identify this. The first photo, the second photo, and the third photo is the same person.
Elizabeth was not assertive, which may have put her at a greater risk for being fired. At around the same time, she claimed that she went in to have knee replacement surgery and was diagnosed with a rare type of bone cancer called chondrosarcoma.
Chondro.
The tumor was in her spine and was so large that surgery was too dangerous. Family members offered to travel to Los Angeles to take care of Elizabeth, but she refused. In 2014, an article about Elizabeth Finch was published in a magazine. It talked about how she was diagnosed with chondrosarcoma and continued.
Why don't journalists, I guess if she's posting the article and writing it herself, that's one thing, but they need to say opinion. Why don't journalists ask for records? Ask for the record. If you're going to go and do a story about a person who's claiming to have a cancer diagnosis or any diagnosis, and that is the point of the story, I think it's fair to ask to see documentation, because that way, if they lie, then it's like fraudulent. But if you're just taking people's words for it, as horrible as that sounds, I feel like we're past that now. You can't do that anymore. You can't trust everyone. Just like, take my word for it. I have this, I have that. It's like, I want to see some documentation. Show me the diagnosis letter that they gave Jessica, okay?
Continued working during treatment against the advice of physicians. She had lost weight, lost her hair, she was vomiting, but Elizabeth continued to soldier on. Due to this article, Elizabeth came to the attention of the production company Shondaland.
Do we hate Todd Grande? This is the first one that popped up. Let me see. Maybe there's a better one. See, he's the top. Hollywood Reporter. This is
a Grey's Anatomy.
Let's see. I'll probably get screwed, but whatever.
A Grey's Anatomy writer has been placed on administrative leave amid concerns that elements of her life, which were written into the show, were allegedly fabricated. Disney is conducting an internal investigation to determine if parts of writer Elizabeth Finch's story, including her cancer diagnosis, were not accurate. Finch has been a writer on Grey's for years and has penned multiple episodes of the series for former showrunner Shonda Rhimes and current.
Why is there music? Why? It gives nothing. Let's do this week. Yeah, this is like not covered very much. 30 views, 60 views, 11 views, 55 views. Why isn't there there's nothing? No views. Oh God. Let's see, this year. How about that? Yeah, Grande was like the only one to cover it. What the hell? Sorry, everybody. We got to stick with Grande.
Land, which was responsible for the TV show Grey's Anatomy. This is a long-running medical drama that follows a character named Meredith Grey during her adventures at a hospital in Seattle, Washington. I view the plot of the show to be more like a bunch of overly dramatic and emotional aliens take over a hospital and behave in the most predictable manner possible. Either way, the production company interviewed Elizabeth and hired her as a writer for the show. Elizabeth was one of 17 writers that would come up with stories in the writer's room. She was the only writer who identified as a person with a
Again, I didn't even know that was her again.
disability. Elizabeth's co-workers viewed her as a hero, someone who was clearly sick but unwilling to stop working. She was an inspiration to everyone. Sometimes they would hear her vomiting in the bathroom. She had a bandage on her upper chest area, which they assumed was covering a port. She didn't have any hair on her head and would wear scarves, and her skin appeared to be yellowish green. Elizabeth was granted certain privileges. The environment typically featured a lot of people talking over one another, but when Elizabeth would talk, everybody would listen. She was granted time off to be treated with chemotherapy and to participate in clinical trials.
Is that better?
Elizabeth told people that somehow she became pregnant against all odds, but she terminated the pregnancy. In 2017, she claimed that she had to get a cancer-related kidney transplant. When Elizabeth turned 40, she had a pajama party with about 100 guests. She announced that there were 2 physicians from the Mayo Clinic who flew to the party from Minnesota, but she claimed that they didn't want to be identified. In her role as a writer, Elizabeth would work her experiences into various episodes of Grey's Anatomy. On one occasion, when another writer challenged one of her ideas as too emotional, she stormed out of the room saying, "This is how it feels," and none of them could understand.
You must have read the
In March
article
of 2018, Elizabeth talked about being harassed by a director on the set of another show. In October 2018, 11 people were shot and killed in a synagogue in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Elizabeth claimed that one of the victims was her friend. In the writer's room, she became so sensitive to the mention of guns that even if somebody complained that their pitch had been shot down, she would wince dramatically. I guess one could say that every time Elizabeth jumped a gun, she hit her coworkers with both barrels. They were probably sweating bullets when thinking about how she was quick on the draw. They were so desperate to get out of there, I could picture them rifling through their phones, looking for someone who would let them ride shotgun with a hammer down. Elizabeth kept expanding on the story. She claimed that she had been permitted to clean up the remains of her friend from the floor of the synagogue. Eventually, Elizabeth demanded 6 weeks off because she had developed PTSD from her friend being killed. Elizabeth traveled to Arizona and checked herself into a mental health facility using a different name. When she was there, she met a woman named Jennifer Bayer. She was a nurse from Kansas who was being treated for
So here's the part 2 part.
PTSD. The two started talking and became roommates. Eventually, Elizabeth explained to Jennifer that she was using an alias because she was an important writer on the TV show Grey's Anatomy. Elizabeth also claimed that her brother had mistreated her and was stalking her. In July 2019, Elizabeth returned to Los Angeles and Jennifer returned to Kansas. Elizabeth invited Jennifer to California to spend some time with her in a house that was owned by an actress with whom Elizabeth was friends. Elizabeth and Jennifer became romantically involved. Now, during this time, Jennifer had been involved in an acrimonious custody dispute with her ex-husband. In September 2019, he brought an end to his own life. So this is Jennifer's ex-husband, who's no longer alive. It appears as though Elizabeth then made up a story involving a death in her family. Elizabeth told the writing staff at Grey's Anatomy that her brother had shot himself in a way so that he would not die, which meant Elizabeth would have to personally pull the plug on life support. She needed some time off work to do that. Elizabeth did not tell this story to Jennifer. As far as Jennifer was concerned, Elizabeth's brother was stalking her, which meant he needed to be alive.
What?
In February 2020, Elizabeth and Jennifer married. The couple spent time in both California and Kansas. Sometime later, Jennifer was looking through Elizabeth's Facebook account and noticed that Elizabeth was out with her friends on the day that she was supposedly cleaning up her friend's body in Pittsburgh. Jennifer also noticed other inconsistencies regarding the claims Elizabeth was making about her medical condition. Jennifer confronted Elizabeth. Elizabeth said that she once had cancer, but she recovered. She really liked the attention and didn't want to give it up. Jennifer knew that this story Elizabeth was telling was also a lie. Jennifer later realized that Elizabeth was taking all types of information from her life, meaning Jennifer's life, to write episodes of Grey's Anatomy. Jennifer pushed Elizabeth to make a full confession, not only to her, but to other people Elizabeth knew. Over the course of a few months, Elizabeth confessed to many people, but not to her coworkers. She admitted that she did not have cancer, her friend was not killed in Pittsburgh, but she still claimed that her brother had mistreated her and that he was dead. When Jennifer continued to push for Elizabeth to confess to everyone, Elizabeth decided to get a divorce. Jennifer contacted the production company and warned them about Elizabeth's deceptive behavior. The production company discovered that Elizabeth's brother was alive. He was a physician and lived in Florida. Elizabeth Finch ended up taking a leave of absence from her job. I have this feeling this is an extended leave, like forever.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe Elizabeth will come back with guns blazing. Now moving to my analysis. Some of the claims Elizabeth made have been proven as false. For example, her brother is not dead. But for other claims, there is no way to know for certain if she is lying or not. I think it's fairly likely that she's lying. Therefore, I'm going to run under that assumption throughout my analysis. Here are my thoughts on a few items that stood out to me in this case. Item number 1. The way Elizabeth was treated by the production company reinforces this myth that people with disabilities get better treatment by their employers. In this particular instance, one could argue that Elizabeth was able to get more attention and more time off from her employer, but the vast majority of the time, people with disabilities do not get any type of special privileges or treatment. People with disabilities are at an increased risk to be the target of discrimination and retaliated against if they report discrimination. The story of Elizabeth Finch hurts people with disabilities. Item number 2, I find it interesting that Elizabeth was highly successful when she was faking cancer, but could not limit her deception to that area.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
she had simply faked cancer and stopped there, nobody would have known.
Yeah.
The problem for Elizabeth is that she kept adding more fantastical stories on top of an already unlikely story. For example, she added the stories about Pittsburgh and about her brother. If a person tells other people that they won the lottery one time, people may believe them. But if they tell people they won the lottery 5 or 6 times, others are going to be skeptical.
So she wanted
Perhaps
to
the
get
same
caught.
personality characteristics that facilitated the first lie led to continued deception. Item number 3. The coworkers of Elizabeth at the production company must feel betrayed by her behavior. They were empathetic, supportive, caring, and went out of their way to help her. In reality, it appears as though she was lying the entire time. It probably occurred to her coworkers to challenge some of her stories, but I imagine nobody wanted to be viewed as insensitive. The penalty for being wrong outweighed the benefit of being correct. Item number 4. What could have been the motive for the behavior?
Yeah, that's how I feel too. Every time I say something, I'm like, I know I'm gonna be like, I don't know. Sometimes I have to weigh, like, do I want to be right or do I want to be nice? And it's hard because I feel like I always, not always, but a lot of times will take the meaner, trying to be right take. But then unless it's proven, even if it is proven, people still think, well, you're still an asshole for pointing it out. It's like, okay, I guess.
Behavior in this case. Writing for a television show is fairly difficult. It's a competitive business. There's a limit as to what one can accomplish through being talented alone. Sometimes people are not happy with the status or money they can earn through their abilities. Under those circumstances, they may decide to portray themselves as a survivor of some type to be viewed as strong and to gain sympathy at the same time. One idea that comes up when people hear about cases like this is factitious disorder. There's no way to know
That's
if
what it's
Elizabeth
called.
has this
Factitious disorder. That's what Munchausen's, I think, has become the new term for it, has turned into.
disorder. Rather, I'm just talking in general terms here. Factitious disorder is sometimes referred to as Munchausen syndrome. It has 2 types, imposed on self and imposed on other. With the imposed on self type, a person pretends that they have an illness. With the imposed on other type, they pretend that someone who they care for has an illness. It's usually a child. Typically, the person with the disorder will be very well versed in medical jargon and frequently visit physicians and or mental health clinicians. They try to convince the providers that they have 1 or more disorders, despite a lack of evidence supporting these claims. The goal with either type of factitious disorder is to gain empathy and sympathy. On occasion, there can be financial gain or other types of benefit, but that is not the objective. It is believed that the motivation for the behavior is unconscious, but the mechanism of fabricating the symptoms is conscious. Therefore, the individual doesn't understand why they are engaging in the behavior, but they do know that they are being deceptive. They are making a choice to engage in a behavior they know is morally wrong. In an instance where both the motivation and the mechanism are unconscious, we would expect to see something more like somatoform disorder. With that disorder, the person is not doing anything to cause the symptoms are actually experienced. So that's the difference between somatoform disorder and factitious disorder. With somatoform disorder, the symptoms are real. There is just no explanation for them outside the realm of mental health. Moving back to factitious disorder, even though the behaviors associated with this disorder are destructive, at least with the imposed on self type, the most significant damage is usually limited to the person engaging in the behavior. The disorder is designed to attract sympathy, and I think that it should. Not sympathy for a fake diagnosis, but sympathy for an individual who is trapped by their own lack of insight.
And mental problems, illness. Josephine Henry, thank you. Josephine Henry says, or picked a character saying "you rock" while showing their pumped bicep. Hey, here's a question for you, Josephine Henry.
It actually was the most mature thing I have ever done.
Just kidding. That was the wrong one, but same, right? That super chat was the most mature thing you've ever done. Just kidding. Also,
it's not my ankle that hurts. It's my Achilles heel. Let's tune into this ankle.
Let's tune into this ankle.
I have no facts.
Thank you, Josephine. Okay, well, that was quite the journey. We went back in time, we came to modern day, and now we're here to stay. Hey! So I saw some mixed reviews about cancer talk. I totally get it. But I hope I satisfied the people who do like that type of stuff. And I'm not going back to it 100% fully, but I think now and then definitely we'll add in some stories and deception. And I want to look into this more because it's confusing, and I'm glad that we touched on it now, but I think a nice defined timeline and accusations would be nice. Maybe that's one I can work on. Yeah, so that was, so everyone send me Venmo money so I can recover. Like I said, $1 equals 1 cell healed. I'm going to put my cells in the quantum box, and I'm going to put my hands like this, like the old days, and we'll heal each other by you paying me. Okay, I'm going to sing some songs of the Pancake Breakfast Club. Thank you for everyone who joined the membership. I saw there's like 10 people. So I think with one more, if we get one more by whenever, I can add the rest of the emojis, emojis. I'm using them interchangeably, but I'm not sure if that's accurate. But you can use all the new ones once we hit that 11, I believe. So, so one person out there, it can be you. You are the special one. It's all for you.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you can be the emoji guy or girl. All right, I picked a sad song for tonight's singing because these are the people who are asking for your donations. Usually there's sad music involved, just like Sarah McLachlan asking for what is that? SPCA donations. That's what we're going to be dealing with today. So thank you to Blaze Goddess. Thank you. It takes a while for that to pop up, but I did see it. Again, MVP, Blaze Goddess. She gifted us a sub. Thank you so much. There it goes. Thank you. That's so nice.
Ooh, shit.
Ooh, shit. Blaze Goddess is doing it all for everybody. Thank you. This is you.
I am dating the most evolved human being.
That's whoever is dating Blaze Goddess. You're dating the most evolved human being. And welcome Nova. And welcome Corpsey Kins to the membership. Okay, cool. I will add that once I end the stream. I will add the new emojis, and the next time and during comments for any video, you can use them. Woo, woo, woo. Thank you, everybody. That was awesome. Good work. Success. Thank you. All right, and now to read your names, sing your names with a sad tune. Hit it. Pee your pants. Pee your pants. Like Rainy Canyon does. Starry nights in the sky, send me money please. To Nicole Hensley. I am hurting in my body, just like Najeri. Nicole Campbell, she doesn't like to ramble, not like clueless Monet, who never has anything to say. Just kidding. Like Laura Wallace, she is crying in the hospital room because she forgot her wallet and now they want $500,000 from you. And Dave Kelly, he wants that jelly from that peanut butter sandwich down in the cafeteria that he's eating at the doctor's office, 'cause he's getting his diagnosis for being cool. This is going off the rails. The perception trainer. How much rain can it be with her? reigning in this melody of sound. Marley Hannon is wearing her crown around town to show a consul that she's the best. And Brian and Nicole, why did you fall down that hole in the street? Now you broke both your feet. Chels Marie, you got chills, baby. It's cold in here because Alaska Blue Tundra is near. Oh, yeah. And Crystal G ain't got nothing on me. That's what Angela Arnold said while she was on her knees begging, please. I'm gonna start the song over again dramatically. Thank you to Louise V. They're always there for me, every stream. And Dahlia, you know I value ya so much, so much. As well as Kimberly Cossey. Don't be so cray-cray. You're not, but just in case. Joms is here to start the day the right way. Kimberly Harris smiles, and she smiles 'cause she's got bathroom tiles that are warm. And Cara Soto, can you take my photo? I gotta post it on my GoFundMe. Alice in Wonderland 66, you again are the last one on this list. We gotta wrap up the show, and it's time to go. Everyone needs to know that Pancake Breakfast Club is made out of pancake dough. See you all next time. Donate to my causes. And don't look at my medical records because they might be fraudulent. Crying. This is me crying. Thank you for being here. Now it's time to go climb some rocks in climbing gear. Peace out, everybody. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. I'll cry, I'll cry, I'll cry. I'm not gonna lie, but I have 15 diseases and I need money to treat them. Yes. My doctor's an asshole. He doesn't know medicine. So now let's tell him to go. Okay, bye. Thank you, bye.